Elevated blood urea level reflects poor glomerular filtration rate and agreed with the findings of earlier workers. ये क्या कर रहा है कि नॉन प्रोटीन नाइट्रोजनस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स को इंड्यूस कर देता है, जिसके चलते ये यूरिया लेवल बढ़ा हुआ मिलता है। नेक्स्ट कोलेस्ट्रॉल की बात करें, यह भी बढ़ा हुआ है, हाइपर कोलेस्ट्रोलिमिया हो जाता है इसमें, इसमें कि ये 25% के आसपास तक इंक्रीज दिखाया गया है। नेक्स्ट exposure of fish to tricyclazole increase in cholesterol or hypercholesteremia may be due to stress induced by toxicants। इसके चलते ये बात देखी गई है और ये रिलेटेड है कि वो जो हिपैटिक सेल्स है उसके परमेबिलिटी को डिस्टर्ब किया है, जिसके चलते ये चेंजेस मिले। नेक्स्ट अब हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि ये सब हमारे फाइंडिंग्स है, जिसके बेस पर हम 2-3 पॉइंट्स बता सकते हैं। एक हम क्या करें, हमने इस पीस पे काम किया, हमारे फाइंडिंग्स जो भी हो हम उसको दूसरे लैब में एक बार कंडक्ट करके इसके रिलायबिलिटी को हम चेक करें, हाउ फार द एक्सपेरिमेंट इज करेक्ट। एक माई पेपर हैज बीन पब्लिश्ड बाय साइंस एग्रीकल्चरल डाइजेस्ट, ठीक है, हमारे जो वर्क है दिस इज पब्लिश्ड इन साइंस एग्रीकल्चरल डाइजेस्ट, वहाँ से पब्लिश्ड है, जो ये इंडिकेट करता है कि ये रिजल्ट्स जो अच्छे हैं। दूसरा हम क्या बता सकते हैं, सेकंड वन के हमने चन्ना फंक्टेटस पे काम किया। द फिश इज यूज्ड इन सर्टेन कंडीशंस, दिस इज नॉट रेगुलर यूज फिश, तो हम इसको किसी दूसरे फिश के साथ लाइक कतला के साथ या लेबियोरोहिता के साथ हम अपने काम को आगे बढ़ाएं, जिससे कि हम लोगों को एक कंप्लीट डिस्क्रिप्शन बता सकें कि आप इस केमिकल के साथ इतना ही % पे काम करें और ऐसा इफेक्ट हमें मिलेगा। ये सब पे हम अपना काम बढ़ा सकते हैं। और ये वेराइटी अगर हम डेवलप करते हैं, ये वेराइटी IR14 ये रेसिस्टेंट वेराइटी है, तो ब्लास्ट डिजीज का हमें फेस नहीं करना पड़ेगा। नेक्स्ट थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, Dr. Dinanath Pandit sir, for your nice and very informative talk on the this 2 days national conference. Dr. Dinanath Pandit enlightened on the different aspects. Basically, Dr. Dinanath Pandit expressed his views which is conducted in the research on the effect of tricyclazole on the Channa pancreatitis to certain hematological and biochemical anomalies. In his presentation, Dr. Pandit focused on the Indian agricultural scenario. He also focused on the different diseases which is caused by this bacteria, particularly into the rice, that is blast disease. As these tricyclazone is pesticides and directly get mixed with the water and degrade the water quality. Dr. Pandit also discussed in his presentation regarding tricyclazone and its exposure to the different food parameters, and in his conclusion he talked on the what happened with these pesticides when it get mixed with the paddy field, and in the same paddy field if there is a fish culture, we go for fish culture, and in his finding he showed that the toxic effect of the tricyclazone for this in his result he enlightened on the LC50 values and the hematological and biochemical analysis of the exposure of this tricyclazole, and in conclusion at the end he concluded that the further exposure of this tricyclazone to the fishes, their blood parameters like the erythrocytes, HB and PCV get decreases, and the long-term exposure of this molecule to the fishes leads to the lethal doses. So thank you, Dr. Pandit sir, for enlightening on very good ideas. Definitely the audience will take some positive from your presentation, and certainly your presentation will be helpful to all the audience. Thank you. Thank you.
I call to Professor Tizari sir to felicitate our keynote speaker, Professor Dinanath Pandit sir, with the bouquet and memento.
What I am today because of her. So real credit goes to her. She just know how to sign, nothing else. But what the conception she has, I think more than most of us. So please.
Thank you, sir. May I call respected Professor C. Manjulata Madam to deliver her lead lecture. And also I call Dr. Amrita Vyas Ma'am to chair the session and Dr. Vilas Garar sir to co-chair the session.
Good afternoon, all of you. So, as the previous speaker said, it is post-lunch session, and I know how people feel to listen after lunch. So, all your oxygen will be utilized for particularly to the digestive system. So, 20% will not go to brain. So, definitely you will feel drowsy. But I'll try to complete my lecture as early as possible because as per the schedule I have to take for 1 hour, but Dr. Nitin requested me to complete it within 20 minutes. Even that much I don't need, it seems. Okay, anyway, in my morning's lecture, I have just mentioned about these advances in sciences, animal sciences. So now, in more detailed thing, way, I'll explain, that's it. So what is the present scenario in the world total, globally, what's happening in this advances in animal sciences. So I told you already that is research programs and centers are creating solutions and innovations in animal sciences. So that's more important. Without research, as you all know, what is research? Research. So we have to search what is true and we have to prove it and we should put it in black and white. That is known as research or science or knowledge. So that is very much important. Research is very important, particularly for the creating solutions and innovations in animal sciences. So animal welfare is currently considered of high importance by consumers and the general public, as we all know. So without any morals or ethics, we are exploitation is there for all the animals what we like. So without thinking in the other way, so we are exploiting them a lot. So their number is reducing like anything. So demand is more and production is less. That is the real reason. So the way in which humans treat animals is unethical and immoral. So that's what we are not thinking about the animals, like how much density it should be, so that we are not at all taking into care. So that's why it is immoral and unethical. So an optimal interaction between animals and stakeholders not only leads to reducing stress and fruitfulness in farm animals, but also increases productivity. So this is the harmony is important. So we should first of all think what we have to do and to what extent we can explore them or exploit them. So that is more important. So smart farming, this is one advanced thing. We are all following that. That is smart farming. So this is the ambition. This like a particular advanced technology ambition is to incorporate several applications for early warnings based on camera observations. So you can see many where the CC cameras are there now. So by using these CC cameras, we can understand and they feel more like secure. So that is like camera observations, the detection of risk factors for leg problems. Usually they will have the leg problems. So we have to detect and immediately we should take some measure. So that is next one. And then yeah. So that is next like animal relationships. So this is more important. We should understand what is the importance of those animals and what is our future if we don't take care of the animals. So that will lead to like loss of all that extinction of that particular species. Sound monitoring. So this is also another important. Nowadays all the people are using vehicles everywhere. We are not. So that is the like sound production is also the so many of these is like recently we have evaluated the thesis on this. So the sound, how it is affecting the animals also. So that is because we are also facing so many problems with that sound. So that is also one important point here, sound monitoring and emission reduction. So we all know so many emissions which are poisonous, polluting the environment. So that also should be taken into consideration. And yeah, so the use of robots with human intelligence for flock and herd management or using sensor technology to locate a specific pen or compartment may also allow workers to pay more or closer attention to towards the animals themselves. So here what I want to say, like by using this technology, so even though it is like not so advanced, but by using this technology, no? So by using the robots, so the organisms like some animals which are reducing the other animals, so they'll take care and they'll reduce that. So these are the techniques which are important and they're reducing yes the people who are managing this like animal stock. So they can use these and they can like protect the animals which they are farming. So since the animal welfare should be at the heart of innovations for tomorrow's livestock systems, research on the matter of how modern technologies can be used to better manage animals and improve their welfare. This is the main aim of these technologies, advanced technologies. So now coming to livestock sector. So this plays an important role in Indian economy and is an important subsector of Indian agriculture. So it is a subsector of agriculture because usually we think agriculture is just concerned with the plants, growing of plants. No, it's not true. So the definition is different. Okay, the definition of agriculture is itself is different. And yeah, this is the second subsector of Indian agriculture, livestock. Okay, livestock sector. So growing population, changing lifestyles, expanding urbanization and hasten climatic changes created new challenges to sustain in the situation. So these are all the reasons. Okay, these are all the reasons why the livestock, yeah, we are talking about the livestock sector. So this is affecting, all these are affecting like anything. So livestock provides stability to family income, especially in the arid and semi-arid regions of the country. Today only someone said that Usmanabad is arid area. So like these areas, no, this is concerned with livestock provides stability to family income, especially in the arid and semi-arid regions of the country. And in the morning also someone explained about this livestock, that is dairy. Okay, dairy industry, they have mentioned that is a white revolution, like that they have explained. I don't remember who. Animals are the part of our day-to-day life and contribute for stabilizing the agriculture income, particularly when monsoon shows its vagaries. So of course we all know how monsoon is affecting the agriculture. So during that period, no, this livestock which is like a co-component of agriculture, because in our Telugu we call Padi Panta, that is agriculture and livestock. So together they are required, no? So then this livestock will help in even some monsoon problems are there in agriculture. So the study of this management from scientific views pays us valuable foods like milk, meat and eggs, manures, and draft power for agriculture also, of course. Power also we can produce, no? Biogas. So that is also the government is providing so many incentives for this biogas plants. So that is also power for our agriculture, heights and bones for the country's economy. So further, the diseases of zoonotic importance and their prevention is also important from public health point of view. So this is also through animals, livestock. We'll have some diseases and they also face some problems. We have to take care of that. So first of all, we should control at that level, then we will be safe. Okay. Now coming to modeling, animal modeling. Advances in animal experimentation and modeling. This is one advanced study. So exploration in laboratory animal sciences, understanding life phenomena, phenomena updates our knowledge about the newer technologies such as molecular biology, genomics including sequencing, proteomics, transcriptomics, cell culture, stem cell culture, transgenesis and their translation to understand systematics and phylogeny of laboratory animals at molecular level. So this is the research which is very hot now, which is having lot of demand. That is molecular biology. So at molecular biology, sir, I forgot his name, he is also concentrated on that only, DNA barcoding. So like that it is very, very important, that is molecular level. It also resolves issues of conservation, applications in environment monitoring, production of drugs and others. So all this is very important. Comparative research has enabled use of domestic animal models that translate the advances in basic biosciences to the schemes for human welfare including medicine, even in health sector. That is for pharmaceuticals also, that is medicines, production of medicines, that is in pharmacology also. This is molecular biology is important. So molecular genesis are unraveling the complexities of mammalian genes, and the field of biotechnology is maturing at a fast pace. So why it is mentioned mammals? Because in livestock, all of the mammals only know. So cows, buffaloes, sheep, goat, pigs, all these. So that is why mammalian genetics. So by studying about that, mammalian genes and the field of biotechnology is maturing at a fast pace. So it's all happening. So additionally, research focused on immunology and animal behavior offer new insight into ways of. So immunology is also very important. Next slide. Okay. So immunology and animal behavior offer new insight into ways of enhancing animal welfare. So these two are also advanced studies, that is immunology and also that animal behavior. So that is another thing. The rise in consumption of animal proteins, in addition to the challenges of sustaining our natural resources, have given animal scientists a vast array of opportunities to engage in integrative system-based research for meeting the challenges that behold us. So this is what the scientists, budding scientists should keep in mind and take up such research. It also discusses the manipulation of animals as factories for the production of safe foods, drugs and sensors and others to meet the contemporary challenges faced by mankind in the new world order that is created by pandemic of COVID-19. So we have seen, so we all faced with that and we came to know about that. It also includes the causation and management of certain diseases and impact of microbes on life. So microbiology is also very, very important. Without microbes, we are not there. Whether you know or not, it's an interesting point I want to tell you. So microbes nowadays after COVID, everyone is very much scared and everyone is talking about microbes. Without microbes, there is no life for us. That's very important. And the number of microbes which are present in our human digestive tract are 10 times more than the total body cell number, 10 times. So that much of microorganisms are there in our digestive tract only. You can just imagine. So without them there is no life. They are helpful in bioremediation, they are very important. Everywhere the microorganisms are very important. So we came to know about that a lot during the COVID time. To achieve solutions to that, vaccine is also prepared with the same thing, no, that microbes only. So to activate solutions to grand challenges in the livestock, poultry and integrated pest management, researchers explore these topics. So these topics right now the researchers are taking into consideration for to overcome all these problems. So insect studies, why insect studies are important? Because India is an agrarian country. So lot of people are depending and we have the sources, agricultural land. So that is wherever agriculture is there, immediately the problem is with pest only. So that's why they are economically very, very important, insects. So lot of research and lot of information, knowledge, you can see lot of research is going on right from the beginning. So insect studies, then animal physiology, genetics and neurology. So these we have already discussed how they are important. So animal physiology, that's more important, we can understand what's happening. And then mammal studies, I told you already, livestock, they are the main things, main animals. Next, avian studies also, avian studies, they are also very important. Why? Because chicken industry is a very big industry all over the world. So avian studies, then animal nutrition, okay, animal nutrition. So how much nutrition we are getting, what kind of nutrition we are getting from that livestock and what nutrition they need also. That is animal nutrition, then animal health and welfare. So we should take care of their health and welfare, then only we can survive. Then animal farming practices. So like all these examples what I have mentioned. No? So animal farming practices are also important. Next, medical implications and advances. So how the medicines are utilized and what are their implications. And then animal pathology. So that is again with the diseases only. Animal reproduction and breeding. So since we need more production, so breeding and reproduction is very, very important. Next, diversity. So this is more important. Animal diversity is very important. We should take into consideration of that also. So we know, here another important point, interesting point I want to tell you. So as we are imagining that on this planet Earth we have the total organisms, living organisms of microorganisms, plants and animals together, there may be 100 millions, that means 10 crores. And till now our knowledge is confined to only 1.8%. 1.8 millions only we have studied so far. Remaining, just imagine, 98.2%, we don't know what are the organisms, all those microorganisms, plants and animals. That is very meager, our knowledge is very meager. We are not so intelligent and we can't say that. So our knowledge is very meager. So innovative projects in animal husbandry. So yeah, so these are all important to take into consideration. And the main technology are electronic recordings. So this is what bioinformatics we have paying lot of importance now. So that is, electronic recording, milking, heat detection, auto weighing, auto drafting, genetic improvement, feeding, barn optimization, and health monitoring, livestock housing and equipment designs. All these are the important innovative projects in animal husbandry. So the innovative technologies in animal husbandry are like this. So that is developing rapidly. The transfer of computer systems, that's what I told you, and software to the application has made the important contribution. So many people are nowadays very interested in bioinformatics by using those computer systems. So a lot of help, it is adding lot of importance. So technologic instruments made farmers can work more comfortable and increased animal production efficiency and profitability. So therefore technologic developments are the main research area for animal productivity and sustainability. So this is all about the techniques in animal husbandry, innovative techniques. So many technologic equipment and tools made animal husbandry easier. Excuse me, sir.
Next.
Yes. So that is that makes easier and comfortable. So especially management decisions and applications are affected highly ratio with this rapid development. So this is all about the soft skills. In animal husbandry, management decisions that need to be done daily are configured according to the correctness of the decision to be made. So at this point, smart systems give many opportunities to farmers. Okay, so this is all to help the farmers only. So whatever the field it may be. So milking, feeding, environment control, reproductive for performance constitutes everyday jobs most affected by correct management decisions. So by using these, no? So the correct management decisions will be taken. So human errors in these works and decision may big effect on last product quality, and that is the last product quality and profitability are not able to be risked. So by using this, no, we will not be in the risk. So animal husbandry is the branch of agriculture where animals are reared, bred and raised for meat, fiber, eggs, milk and other food products. So you know what is the importance of all this in our day-to-day life. It refers to livestock raising and selective breeding. It is the management and care of animals in which the genetic variety and behavior of animals are further developed for profit. So this is what it's livelihood for so many people. So who can depend on this animal husbandry. A large number of farmers depend upon animal husbandry for their livelihood. So animals provide with a variety of food products which have high nutritional values and require a lot of care and attention. So that is a very nutritious food. Animals are bred commercially in order to meet the high demand for food. So dairy products from animals like cows, buffaloes, goats are rich sources of protein. Of course, we all know that. These animals are called milch. So this is one new terminology, milch, MILCH, animals as they produce, provide us with milk. So milk and milk products together known as milk. Okay. Yeah. So animals like chicken, duck, ox, goat, pigs, etc. are bred for meat. So other than these domestic animals, we have other sources of nutrients as well. They are marine animals. Yeah, now aquaculture. So this is about the aquaculture next. Next sir. The seafood actually, very, very important. The seafood we eat has very high nutritive values. They are sources of variety of nutrients like fat, proteins, vitamins and minerals. I think all of you know what are the unsaturated fatty acids are very good for health. So usually we are very much scared of fats. So we don't want to take lipids. But without lipids, how the cell is formed? The functional and structural unit of life itself is the plasma membrane, and it is made up of bilayered lipids. So the very important phospholipids particularly and cholesterol for the formation of plasma membrane. And coming to the other lipids or fats, okay, we should say lipids. So unsaturated fatty acids, polyunsaturated fatty acids as well, highly unsaturated fatty acids. They are known as UFAS and PUFAS. And omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids. These are all very rich in the marine products. That is marine fishes and other products. They are very rich. So which are very important even for the heart and also the health. So that is vitamins and minerals. All these are very rich in the marine life. Okay, since we don't have much time for this, I'm not continuing. If I get time now, I'll definitely take a lot of time for this aquaculture because it's one of my topics, research topics. So types of animal husbandry, I'm confined to this only. There are 4 major types of animal husbandry practiced in the world. So 4 types here. So 4 major types. First one is dairy farming. As you all know, the whole world is depending on dairy farming because milk is very rich in calcium and also so many vitamins and minerals. So dairy farming is the agriculture technique. Nitin, is it okay? Can you continue? How much time? 10 minutes. Okay. So dairy farming is the agricultural technique concerned with the long-term production of milk, which is then processed to obtain dairy products such as curd, cheese, yogurt, butter, cream, etc. All these are which are very tasty. And in all the bakeries we can see these and very tasty particularly and healthy also. No doubt about that. It involves the management of dairy animals such as cows, buffaloes, sheep, goat, etc. The animals are taken care of against diseases and are inspected regularly by veterinary doctors. Of course, we know that is veterinary like part is a very important one, and along with the allopathy, that is in human medicine. A healthy animal is physically, mentally and socially sound. So these animals are milked by hand or by machines. So the milk is preserved and conserved into dairy products industrially, which are then used for commercial purpose. Okay, so that is extra. Now coming to the poultry farming. So world over, this is also very, very important. So many people are using this poultry products. That is, poultry farming is concerned with raising the breed, like a breeding of birds for commercial purposes. So birds like ducks, chickens, geese, pigeons, turkeys, etc. World over, these are the examples world over, are domesticated for eggs and meat, both. It is very important, and I want to add one more point here. All of you please remember and just try to follow for your health only. We have more than 20 amino acids, okay, which are the building blocks of the proteins. And in our body, among organic components, that is more than 70% and 25% of lipids and only less than 5% of carbohydrates will be there in each and every cell, right? So these amino acids are again two types, essential, non-essential. Essential ones cannot be produced in the body, they cannot be synthesized. Non-essential can be synthesized. Only egg contains all the total amino acids we can get from the egg. So please take a day, an egg a day keeps the doctor away. So please remember, not only an apple a day, but an egg a day keeps the doctor away. So you can understand how much important the protein and amino acids, and all the amino acids are present in the egg, that is chicken, maybe in all the other eggs also. So these eggs and meat, it is very important to take care of animals and maintain them in disease-free environment to obtain healthy food from them. So at present, it's a very big hot topic, that bird flu. It is horribly terrifying so many people, and the chicken industry is facing a lot of problem, whether you have gone through that or not. In our state, of course, it is there, and in other states also. So that is the main problem now. So the diseases of bird flu is very, very dangerous. So that is the disease-free environment to obtain healthy food from them. So the eggs and meat are a rich source of protein, of course. So sanitation and hygienic conditions need to be maintained for the poultry farming. So the feces of birds are used as manure to improve soil fertility. Yeah, they are fecal materials which contain, all of you know that zoologists, that is uric acid. It contains more uric acid, which is important in fertilizers. So poultry farming provides employment to a large number of people and helps in improving the economy of the farmers. So that is about the poultry. Next, coming to fish farming again. Fish farming is the process of raising fish in closed tanks or ponds for commercial purposes. So there is an increasing demand for fish and fish protein. So fish species such as salmon, catfish, cod and tilapia are raised in fish farms. I have already mentioned now. So the huphos and bufos are very much rich in these fish. So next, coming to bee farming. So honey. So nowadays all the people are very much health conscious, and almost all are using the honey with lemon in water. So bee farming or apiculture is the practice of maintaining bee colonies by humans in man-made hives. Honey bees are reared on a large scale. The bees are domesticated for honey, wax and to pollinate flowers. So if, this is another important point, interesting point. If you go through the internet, you can understand, if the bee is extinct from this planet Earth, there is no life for human beings, ultimately. So that much important, the bee farming, we should take care of them. So pollinate flowers also, that is the main reason is for pollinating the flowers. So they are also used by other beekeepers for the same purposes. So the place where bees are kept in known as apiary or a bee yard. And coming to animal, role of animal husbandry in human welfare. Animal husbandry is beneficial to human beings in the following ways. First one, dairy products, that is animals such as cows, goats, all this they give. Then meat, animals, such animals they will give that. And land management, see, this is another one important. The livestock is sometimes grazed to control the growth of weeds on agricultural land. The dry shrubs in the areas that are prone to wildlife are eaten by goat and sheep, which reduces the risk of fire. So this is one important from the livestock. Next, fiber. So next one is fiber. Animals also produce fibers or textiles such as wool and leather. Of course, you know that is the wool industry is also very, very important in cold places, that is in polar regions and also cold countries. So the fiber is produced from where? That is sheep, goat or sheep. Sheep or goat. So that in cold countries, no, when I visited the Kulu Manali, I used to see so many sheep, sheep only. So many sheep I used to see the whole Kulu Manali is filled with those. That's because the wool industry is the main livelihood for them, all those people. So wherever the climate conditions are very cold, so obviously even the street dogs also they are with full of fur. So that can be utilized as fiber. Okay, next. Next, coming to the manure. Okay, wool and leather also can be obtained from camel. Okay, next, manure. So I told you already, the excreta, blood and bones of animals are used as manure. The manure is spread on the field of increase the crop yield and crop production. I told you in the morning, organic farming. So for organic farming, so these materials will be utilized. It is very good for health. It is also used as fuel for fibers, fires and as plaster for walls and floor. So this is also very important from the animal husbandry. Next, coming to labor. Animals are a source of non-human labor. They are used for plowing fields, transporting goods and military functions also. Horses, yaks and donkeys are used for such purposes. We can see in the movies, old movies, we can see all these are used as their armature. So that is advantages of animal husbandry are like this. Okay, sir. Again, the same thing is given. So animal husbandry helps in proper management of animals by providing proper food, shelter and protecting against diseases to domestic animals. It provides employment to a large number of farmers and thereby livelihood to those people, poor people, and their standards, living standards also will improve. It helps in developing high-yielding breeds of animals by crossbreeding. This increases the production of various food products such as milk, eggs, meat, etc. It involves the proper disposal of animal waste and promotes a healthy environment. So this is all about the animal husbandry and the technology which is developed so far. So with this, just from the zoology side. So this is from the zoology side. Of course, aquaculture is also under that only. That is a very big field again. So this is these are all the fields which are important in the research for upcoming research students. So with this, I thank once again the organizers for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am delivered talk on the topic advances in animal sciences. Ma'am has highlighted their views on different topics and focused on smart farming, ethics and research, animal relationships, sound monitoring, emission and prediction, livestock sector playing important role in Indian economy using molecular biology, immunology and animal behavior. Ma'am also give some topics for the young researchers, that is the insect studies, animal physiology, genetics, neurology, avian studies, animal nutrition, animal farming practices, mammal studies, animal diversity, animal husbandry and etc. Ma'am, you have delivered very nice talk and definitely young researchers will definitely use this extremely vast topic in their research and their teaching. Thank you so much.
Manjula, felicitation. I request Amrita West Madam to felicitate as keynote speaker. Lead lecture. Lead lecture.
आप रुको
Sir, backward, sir. Yeah, backward, sir. Left on the foot. Forward, sir.
I request Secretary Madam to welcome and felicitate our chairperson, Amrita West. I request Gaikwad sir to felicitate our co-chairperson, Garad sir. Now we are moving towards our next technical session, and for that session, I request Milind Shirbhate sir to give us a lead lecture. For this, we have chairperson as Prashant Singh sir and co-chairperson Shyam Sundar Gurdue sir.
A very good afternoon to one and all, respected chairperson of this session and co-chairman, dear organizers, all the delegate friends, my senior colleagues, and all the participants. This is Dr. Milind Shirbhate. I am from Akola, from Shankarrao College, Associate Professor. Friends, start from inaugural session, everybody is explaining his views on their respective subjects. All the things are acceptable for everyone. But the topic I am discussing with you is regarding the nature conservation. This is the need of the day. That's why I put this topic in this particular national event. So basically, I worked as an accuracy coordinator in my college, and there I have observed what is the need of time. Need of time is the NAC needs the energy conservation, the NAC needs the biodiversity conservation, the NAC needs everything. And they are taking these things from honorable management, honorable principal, honorable say associate professor, professors and other these students are too. By involving students, they need more and more say events for regarding the conservation. So keeping in mind, I put it this topic in this particular conference that what should we do or what we can do for conservation of nature so that the upcoming researchers will get definitely the new topics without harming anything or the sustainable development. See, Manjulatha ma'am has already said that without disturbing anything, the sustainable development you have to go for the research, right? So I will tell you what in my this particular presentation, what are the different topics you can choose for your students for their research work as well as for the project work for MSc dissertations, and even the NEP implementation is too. Right in the month of June, July, we are implementing NEP. So that you, from my lecture you could get some ideas. So I had divided my lecture in these particular things. The urgency of environment conservation, the impact of human activities on the environment, the benefits of environment conservation, examples of successful conservation efforts, what you can do to help, and the importance of collective action, because everybody has to collectively take the action to for the sustainable development, for the conservation of environment and all the things. So one by one we will discuss. I will take a half an hour to discuss my slides with the dear audience. What is biodiversity? Everybody knows, all of you are teachers, and since from 7th class or 6th class you know what is meant by conservation and what is meant by biodiversity. Just I am putting this slide for a particular this photograph. This is seen. We are seeing this additional material, that is the buildings. Previous time this was not there in the biodiversity, but nowadays we are putting this also in the biodiversity slide. So this is the disturbance we are causing in the biodiversity conservation. So it includes all the related biomaterial as discussed earlier by ma'am also and respected sirs also. Even in the inaugural session, Khillare sir, I think NEP, those who are taught, they have also discussed all these things. All the things are important in the nature. So that's why this is not discussing here. This slide is very much important, I think so, because every presentation I used to put this slide. See, biodiversity provides free ecosystem services. We are getting all the things free from the ecosystem. What are those things? These things are provide goods such as food, medicine, purification of air and water we are taking from the environment, decomposition of waste, mitigation of floods, moderation of storm surges, or everything I have put it on the board in this particular slide. So these we are getting from the ecosystem, these services in free of cost. Now what are the different ecosystem services we need to talk nowadays? So ecosystem are communities formed by interacting of living organisms, that is plants, animals and microbes, and also the non-living organisms, that is air, water, mineral and soils. Humans benefit from ecosystem in a variety of ways. सिर्फ ह्यूमन बीइंग है ऐसा इंसान जो आदमी है या फिर स्पेसीज है जिसको इससे बेनिफिट हो रहा है, अदर सभी को इससे बेनिफिट हो नहीं रहा है, ये मुझे कहना है। Last, the interaction between ecosystem components are critical to well-defined environment. This is another thing we want to discuss. There is an urgency of environmental conservation nowadays. Current state of environment is very terrible. Climate change, pollution and habitat destruction are just a few of the issues that threaten our planet's health. So our health is very severe. The urgency of environmental conservation has never been greater. Without immediate action, we risk irreversible damages to the ecosystem, loss of biodiversity and devastating consequences on human health and well-being. It is up to all of us to take responsibility and make a difference. So this slide is very vigorously I have put over here. There are so many terrors, there are so many errors in the environment we observe. So terror are there. वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारची युद्ध सुरू आहे. This causing the errors on the environment, cultivating, decultivating the things. they have threatened the biodiversity on the earth, and you got the environmental disasters and other things. So this is what the background, at the background we are facing this terrorism. And we also say creating this terrorism at the back of this particular thing. Second, the increased industrialization. Increased industrialization. Everywhere you are seeing like this. Population explosion, greed have worsened the situation. सिर्फ मुझे मलाई खानी है, दूसरे किसी को देनी नहीं है, दूसरे किसी ने मांगी तो उसको एक बूंद दीजिए बस. So this is the situation we are facing nowadays. Deforestation. These are the news we are seeing in the newspapers nowadays. These are the pictures we are seeing in the newspaper nowadays. See, the images itself says where we are now. Yesterday or day before yesterday, we are facing this situation. अवकाळी पाऊस जिसको बोलते हैं. These are the situations facing in the protected areas of times. And these are the situations under the city, inside the city. मतलब अंदर भी टेरर है, बाहर भी टेरर है, उसकी वजह से सब तरफ एरर आ रहा है. अभी एरर पे हमको काम करना है, तो ये कैसे करें? तो अकेले ने सिर्फ शिरभाते सर ने बोला तो वो नहीं हो सकता है. उसके लिए नितिन पटवार सर जैसे सर चाहिए, मंजुलता मैम भी चाहिए. सभी स्टेट्स मिलकर अगर काम करते हैं तो इंडिया को अपन ऊपर ले जा सकते हैं. ये मेरा यहाँ पे कहना है. So we have to save these hotspots of biodiversity. These are the hotspots of biodiversity. There are only 34 biodiversity hotspots in the world. इतने ही बचे हैं. Only 34. And out of these 34 in the world, 4 are in India. अगर हम पूरा वर्ल्ड का हिसाब देखें तो उसमें से सिर्फ 4 ही हॉटस्पॉट ऐसे हैं जो इंडिया में बचे हैं. उसमें से द हिमालयाज, इट इज हैविंग 163 endangered species, the western ghats, the Indo-Burma region and the Sundarlands. So these are the various areas where we found the good diversity of species, and they need to be, it needs to be protected. So what is meant by hotspot? There are some students over here, so they must know what are the hotspots, what is meant by hotspots, and where do we make the hotspots. So biodiversity hotspots are areas support natural ecosystems that are largely intact, not damaged, impaired in any way, complete, and where native species and communities associated with these ecosystems are well represented. वहाँ पे ऐसी स्पीसीज होनी चाहिए जिसमें एंडेमिक स्पीसीज हो. उससे अलावा वहाँ वो दूसरी जगह कहीं ना हो. दैट इज द एंडेमिक स्पीसीज. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू कंजर्वेशन इंटरनेशनल, टू क्वालिफाई एज अ हॉटस्पॉट, region must meet 2 restricted areas. It must contain at least 1500 species of vascular plants, and it has to have lost at least 70% of its original habitat. These are the 2 criteria we have to select for the biodiversity hotspots. Hotspots को घोषित करने के लिए. That means the hotspot of biodiversity means the region having 1500 species of vascular plants as endemics and lost at least 70% of the original habitat. Now coming to the point, heritage sites. हम जैसे आगे कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए आए हैं तो हमें भी 2-3 हेरिटेज साइट्स करते हुए वापस जाएंगे. तो यहाँ पे भूम के अराउंड हमें कुछ मिला नहीं, लेकिन कल हम जब भूम शहर में यहाँ पे आए हैं, so we have seen lots of birds. We have seen 1000 flock of birds over here at Bhoom. So there is a good site at Bhoom also, bird sighting. शाम में हमने यहाँ पे पूछा कि यहाँ पे कोई वाटर बॉडी है क्या, तो उन्होंने बोला कि 3 lakes are there. So there is a opportunity for students or researchers working over here on the study of birds. They may work on the migratory birds, they may work on the local birds, they may work on the local migrant or state migrant birds variety. So these are the topics they can choose. So these are the biodiversity heritage sites in India on map. Now coming to talk on the tigers, as I have completed my PhD work during 2007 on tigers of Melghat Tiger Reserve and other animals, prey species, their feed, their prey habitat, prey and predator relationship, and their parasitic infections. So that was the topic of my research. So we are focusing and continuously we are using these cat samples of tigers over the Melghat Tiger Reserve area. Till now my student is also doing that particular subject also. So seeing the tigers in India, so these are the special places where you can find the tigers in India. And India is the one of good country in the world where we found these particular species in a lot much count. So these are the tiger reserves in India. Total we are having 39 tiger reserves nowadays. So we are very fortunate to have the tiger lands in our India. And what we are doing? See, the picture itself indicates what we are doing. हमें जंगल में जाना है, टाइगर देखना है, लेकिन वो मुझे दिखना ही चाहिए. मैं कैसा भी करके उसके पास गाड़ी लेके वो जिप्सी वाला भी जाके उसके टाइगर के मुंह के पास जाके सबको दिखाएगा, भैया दिख गया 2000 रुपया. So this is the situation we are facing in the tiger reserve in the protected areas. टाइगर हम फोटो में भी देख सकते हैं, लेकिन हम उसके पास जाके उसके जबड़े में हाथ डाल के ही देखना है ऐसा नहीं है. So we are disturbing the habitats. We are simply disturbing the habitats. This I mean to say. So again I put that same slide over here. Biodiversity provides us a free ecosystem. So free ecosystem services. Though we are disturbing them, though we are going over those areas, but still the biodiversity provides us free ecosystem. Free services. Even the pollinators of the forested areas or protected areas, here is a scope of how many types of pollinators in your areas are there. So that should be a very good topic for a project or research. Because insects are very important, they play a very important role in this particular food webs of different animals. So taking into consideration, we put any amount of animal and its biodiversity, its prey habitats, right? Again, so many things related to the species we must choose for our study. Even the microinvertebrates which are present inside the water bodies. Nowadays there are very low water bodies are there where you can find good quality or potable water. You find the polluted water everywhere now, right? So there is a chance of good water body having good macroinvertebrate faunas who plays a role of purification of water. So that should be a very good topic for the upcoming research. Even the soil litter, if you put a piece of cloth and just put down the soil litter on the particular cloth, you may find the variety of insects. That should be a dissertation topic. That should be a topic for the PhD. These are the exact photographs taken by one of my students. See, these are the things inside the soil litter. Again, one more growing field, that is the honeycombs. Insect population control is one more topic to discuss. Birds, they control other invertebrates and vertebrate species. They are having a very good role in the ecosystem, the food chain, the food webs. One new topic which related to the butterfly. Butterfly used to mud puddling. They take salts, NaCl from the paddy area. But one of our research student, Dr. Shikha Singhai, she is in Mumbai. She has discovered that this particular wing, if we take the Fourier transform of that particular wing, then it may act as a solar panel. Means she concluded that the wings of the butterflies acts as a solar panel. From that, the butterflies get energy for flying. So here is one more scope inside the butterfly studies. That is, without harming any species, we don't have to harm the butterfly, because after mating, the male will be die, and after laying eggs, the female also die. So you have to take those samples for your research. For that, you don't have to go with a sweeping net and go inside the study area and killing the species. So that type of study you need to have nowadays. One of the result from our studies, that we got one new acanthocephalan parasite from a tiger's cat. From 4 different water holes of Belghat Tiger Reserve, I found this particular, say, acanthocephalan parasite. We have sent the samples of this particular, say parasite to the ZSI. They don't know. They said that this is the, this is what's it? They said this is the larva of any fly. But our guy, Dr. G.N. Wankhede, who was ex-professor and head at Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati, he said that this acanthocephalan parasite, it is having stumpy legs, spiny spicules over our body. This is not the character of any fly, say larva. So there is again one more scope for this particular survey also. So we are doing that also. Again, so many studies, importance of gene modifications. There is one fungus. Beta-rhizome anispoichili fungus was modified to express a scorpion protein that acts as an anti-malarial toxin. So anti-malarial toxin should be produced with the help of this particular fungus. Here is again one more. Now next point we have to discuss the impact of human activities. There are so many activities of humans which is impacting on the Mother Earth. There are some of the examples. How could ecosystem be affected? सबको प्रश्न पड़ा होगा कि ये क्यों बोल रहे हैं ऐसे? So important, the impact of human activities on the environment. Human activities have a profound impact on the environment. Deforestation, pollution, overfishing. Yes, this is also one of the most issue. Are just a few examples of how we are damaging the natural world. These activities not only harm wildlife and ecosystem but also contribute to climate change and other global issues. It is crucial that we understand the impact of our actions and work towards the sustainable solutions. So what we can do? This we have done. These are the impacts. This is one of the photographs. For construction of roads, we are disturbing the forest. This is the impact. Illegal grazing inside the protected areas. गांव के बाहर जितना भी जंगल रहता है कि वो गाय वाला जाके पूरा उसमें का जितना भी रहता है पूरी उसके जानवर है वो पूरे खा के घर पे आ जाते हैं शाम में. So botanist what botanist will do? Botanist को अगर कोई टॉपिक चाहिए तो नियर बाय उसको अगर ग्रासेस कितने तरह के ग्रासेस उसको चाहिए तो वो नहीं ले सकता. He can't find any grass species because there is illegal grazing. Right? So here overpopulation is there, making crimes, killing, capturing of wild animals for personal benefits and recreation. इस पे थोड़ा अभी रोक लगा हुआ है ड्यू टू वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट. जहाँ पे फॉरेस्ट स्टाफ अगर एक्टिव है तो ठीक है, अगर नहीं है तो चल रहा है. तू भी तेरे पास किसी शिकार किया हुआ कोई किसका नाखून है तो मेरे लिए भी लेके आओ, वो भी ज़्यादा मेरे लिए हेल्पफुल रहेगा, ऐसा भी बोला जाता है. So we are illegally doing this. Illegal cutting of trees is also there. Forest fires, there overuse of plastic carry bags. This is the situation, current situation. हम जहाँ भी मार्केट में जाते हैं कैरी बैग पहले दे, give me carry bag. So this we have to stop. All types of pollutions, encroachments, global warming and the climate change, these are the impacts. So many things we have to discuss, but I am skipping some of the slides. These are the industrial wastewater which you can find. Again, here is a scope in New Delhi. There is a river Yamuna, and the Indian Express have posted these photographs on the say Twitter channel, Twitter handle of Indian Express. You may find these photographs. That these untreated sewage waste on the several occasions cause increase in ammonia levels of the river water and affecting the drinking water supply in India's national capital. This was the Twitter statement of that thing. Here our idols are there. So these are the situations. ताजमहल सब लोग देखने जाते हैं, हम भी गए थे हमारे फैमिली के साथ. So there we have observed these things. फ्रंट साइड में बहुत अच्छा है.
But at the back side.
My kid also saying that at the back side it is very dirty. So this is the photograph of Taj Mahal. This is the real picture. Again, we have visited on the 12th October 2023 at the Lonar crater, which is the third biggest meteorite impact crater. Every year we used to go there for study. Every year we used to go arrange study tours for BSc say second year students, and we find this particular picture that one of the endangered species, a beetle, dung beetle, which is near to threatened species now, and here is you find the Haldiram moong dal packet. This is what the unexpected things we find. Even in the first month of this February, everybody has seen this clip. Everybody on your mobile phones. That a tiger used to go in the water and pick one water bottle away from the water. Everybody, every student have seen this. Yes. So this is what the message. It is coming from the wild animals too, that they need their life. कभी कभी ऐसा हो जाता है कि कहीं ना कहीं ऐसी 2 साल पहले 3 साल पहले बहुत सारी हरियाली थी, बहुत सारे पेड़ हरे हरे थे, लेकिन कुछ ऐसा हो जाता है कि वो पूरे के पूरे सूख जाते हैं. So what are the things? The introduction of GM traits having terminator gene are posing loss to the biodiversity. और हमें कब पता चलता है? जब वो पूरे मर जाते हैं, तब पता चलता है कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ. So these are the impact. What biotechnology is doing? Biotechnology is doing good things. They are making transgenic trees, having good, say, qualities inside that plant, and they are providing them to the human benefit. Yes or no? Yes. Simply, we are putting some of the things in one new say organism, and we make it GMO. Already, madam has said this GMO, genetically modified organisms, of course. They cause such type of diseases. This is also published by the WHO, World Health Organization. So it causes cancer, neurological degenerations, and different types of syndromes. And this is posted on Wikipedia too. The genetically modified organisms will cause these type of diseases. Even we are eating the bananas treated with calcium carbide, ripened contains the arsenic. How to confirm that it has been ripened by a chemical or not? So there are so many things. If the stalks wrapped in plastic, naturally ripened. Light yellow bananas are there, naturally ripened. Low shine banana peels are there, naturally ripened. But bright yellow bananas are there, peels that are softer here, and shiny banana peels are chemically ripened. So these are the things we need to observe in the market, then and then buy the product. And this is the thing continuously happening at the back of your market. साहब बहुत ताजी सब्जी है, हम जहाँ रहते थे वहाँ पे ऐसी एक केमिकल वाला आया, उसने बोला कि आप इसमें 2 दिन पहले वाली भी सब्जी पानी में डालते हो तो वो पूरी ताज़ा होकर दिखेगी आपको। ऐसा भी केमिकल मार्केट में आया हुआ। वो तो उसके बेनिफिट के लिए ये करेगा ही ना। He can do because you have to sell his product. At the back side in the market, these things are happening. Even on the Flipkart and Amazon, you may find these particular products. इस पे रोक नहीं है, जिसको बुलाना है वो बुला सकता है घर पे. So who will talk about it? Even the Times of India posted this particular news that poses risk to public health. These are the chemicals we are using. So finding the solution is the research. Why I put it these slides? Finding the solution. We zoologists, we botanists, having different specializations, we have to find the solution on the particular topic. Then and then, there will these type of conferences will be helpful for the next generations. That answer. Again, the gift of climate change. Warmer the temperature, sea level get rise, altered precipitation, more extreme rain, increase in the winter in the springs. Pandemic, everybody have faced. This is the picture I got, and this also I got on WhatsApp status. हमने इसके पहले इतने सारे पेड़ काट के भेजे थे अंग्रेजों ने, जिसका साइज ये सिलेंडर की इतना था, और आज हम उसके बदले ऑक्सीजन खरीद रहे हैं. And we are still in the line for oxygen. This is the situation. After 10 to 20 years, this will be the situation in our areas. आज हम नहीं जागे तो ये situation आने में समय नहीं लगेगा. A very small thing, I will give you one example of this beautiful animal, beautiful creature, the spider. It is having 8 legs, 8 eyes, body divisible into two parts, having secretory structure, that is silk gland. These are the 8 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is one bacteria, Wolbachia bacteria are transmitted to the eggs. To the survival depends on how many females are to be born. So one bacteria, after hatching in this particular species, it decides how many females will hatch later. So this is the thing which we have to observe among the different insect species. That should be a topic for the research. The spider lives alone in its web with 2 males. One male becomes successful for mating and other is or are killed and driven out by the web. This is the situation. Only one male at a time clash the females and become successful. So here you find this is one female and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 males are there. So this is also the study. The food capture is stolen by the theridoids and other spiders, that is kleptoparasitism. Kleptoparasitism theme phenomena is very well observed in this species. These are the things ecosystem services free of cost by the spider, a small species which we used to kill in our houses because there is no any other option. हम झाड़ू लेते हैं उसको मार देते हैं. This is the situation. As it acts as a predator, insect pest control. It maintains ecological balance. Nutritious food for bees and birds. There is one bird, hummingbird. It used to take the nest of it used to take the web of spider to build the nest because it is antimicrobial and antifungal in nature. Spider web. That bird knows it is antimicrobial and antifungal. That's why that hummingbird and different types of bird species, they are using these spider webs. Because everybody, there is no cotton. Yes. So they are using these things. Silk. The silk of a spider used for the surgical threads, bulletproof jackets too. It acts as an antibiotic, it acts as a venom. Venom used as a venom used in the paramedical use also. And used in the bird nets too. These are the photographs. That this particular hummingbird, a species, uses the spider web to make the nest. Another role of insect is it makes soil fertile. Here are some of the examples. They make the holes and make the soil fertile, rich with the nitrogen and other contents. Similarly, spiders help in making the soil fertile. For example, some big spiders, for example these spiders, they used to make holes, big holes. अपना हाथ उसमें पूरा जाता है, इतना बड़ा होल बनाता है. Tarantula spider. So that particular spider, it helps in the water harvesting. Now, lastly, the benefits of environmental conservation. Environment conserve हमने किया तो हमें क्या benefits मिलते हैं? So environment conservation offers numerous benefits to both humans and wildlife. दोनों को इसका फायदा होगा. By protecting natural habitats and reducing pollution, we can improve air, water quality, increase biodiversity, and promote sustainable resources. Conservation efforts also provide economic benefits such as ecotourism and job creation to the upcoming generation of students. By investing in conservation, we can create a healthier, more prosperous future for all. These are the examples of successful conservation efforts. We have rediscovered some of the species in India. One is the forest owlet, Athene bleviti in Melghat. It is rediscovered. And in the Aval Sanctuary, 2005, wild buffaloes, green munias and giant tree geckos. These are the photographs. अगर इसमें तब हमने एफर्ट नहीं लेते थे, सतपुड़ा फाउंडेशन, one of the good NGO working in the Maharashtra, Dr. Kishore Reddy is a founder of Satpura Foundation. Now he is a director of BNHS, Bombay Natural History Society at Mumbai. He took this particular effort to save these wild buffaloes. There were only 2 last buffaloes he has seen. But the female is in Maharashtra and the male was in the Madhya Pradesh. So he brought this particular thing and now we are having 6 wild buffaloes. Otherwise, they may be extinct from the Maharashtra and India. So this is the thing. Second is forest owlet. This is also rediscovered. Green munia. This is also rediscovered. Then giant tree gecko, fat-tailed gecko, and mouse deer. Recently, in the last month, we found this mouse deer in the Melghat Tiger Reserve. One of the forest guide, जिसको हमने ट्रेनिंग दिया था, वो हमारे पास आया, उसका व्हाट्सएप का नंबर है, वो बोला कि सर हमको माउस डियर मिला. दिस वाज रीडिस्कवर्ड स्पीशीज. कितना सा रहता है माउस डियर? माउस डियर. Okay, so these are the species. Here is a scope. Again, these are the things we have already seen. This poisoning of, say, carcasses of, say, animals, buffaloes and cows. From their bones, these birds, they take the poison where we are creating diclofenac. Yes, Down to Earth, a very well known magazine. That magazine posted in one of the issue that the diclofenac, acylofenac, nimesulide and ketoprofen, this causes major habitat losses in this particular vulture species. And now in India, 2 conservation program for vulture is going on. One is in Rajasthan and one is in at WII, Wildlife Institute of India. Dr. Uniyal sir, he is seeing all these things at WII. There is a conservation project for vultures. Lots of funds are there. Save Lands. Yes, she knows. So only 2 programs. वहाँ पे वो क्या करते हैं, जितना भी लास्ट ब्रीड बचा हुआ है उनको लेके उसका ब्रीडिंग करके जो भी उसमें से नया एनिमल आएगा उसको प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया में छोड़ते हैं जहाँ पे डाइक्लोफिनेक का यूज नहीं हो रहा है। तो इसके लिए हमको वहाँ पे मेडिकल पे जाके या फिर वहाँ पे वो बैन करना पड़ेगा इंडियन मेडिकल एसोसिएशन की तरफ से कि ये ड्रग मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए, तब जाके ये जो स्पेसीज है ये कंजर्व होगी। सो नाउ वी आर हैविंग 21 स्पेसीज. Last 21 birds are there in India. Black neck vulture. So this is the situation. अगर हम सही टाइम पे उस पर काम नहीं करते हैं तो we will not get that those species nowadays. ये species हमें आज मिलेगी नहीं. Yes. This is the news. देश में गिद्ध संरक्षण के लिए बड़ा कदम. अभी गवर्नमेंट भी इस पे काम कर रही है. इनिशिएटिव किसने लिया? एक छोटी सी एनजीओ जिसको ये ध्यान में आया कि इस पे काम करना जरूरी है. तो एनजीओ इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट. नॉन गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लेके अगर हमने काम करते हैं तो उसका इम्पैक्ट बहुत ज्यादा तेज होगा. सारस क्रेन्स. दिस इज द थिंग इन आवर एरियाज. भंडारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट ओनली 4. तुमसर तहसील. Gonditola is the name of village. Yes. So we are last 4 species over there. Lesser forican. In our Akola, there was lesser forican. Lesser forican ऐसा बर्ड है जो हम वहाँ देखते थे, लेकिन आज एक भी स्पेसीज वहाँ पे अवेलेबल नहीं है ड्यू टू illegal trade. Even the Solapur, which is nearby place, Solapur Sanctuary. Yes, Indian Great Bustard, Nana's Wildlife Sanctuary. उसका भी न्यूज़ हमने पढ़ा था कि लास्ट एक ही बर्ड बचा है, वो भी कभी कभी आता है साहब. So these are the news that we are seeing nowadays. So what we can do now? अभी तक हमने क्या देखा, क्या हो रहा है, क्या होना चाहिए और हम कहाँ तक है. What we can do, why we are sitting in this particular hall. So the study will start from here. What we can do today. We can do such small things. For conservation purpose, we need to approach any NGO that you come and give slideshow to our students. Slideshow on birds, slideshow on grasses, anything you have. कितने टाइप के पक्षियां हैं, कितने टाइप के जानवर यहाँ पे हैं, उस पे आप स्लाइड शो लो. स्टार्ट विद द चिल्ड्रन. दिस वी आर डूइंग. हेल्प देम टू लव एनिमल्स. मुझे भी टाइगर जैसा दिखना चाहिए, तो उसका मेकअप कर दो. लेट अस सेलिब्रेट. This is one of the things. We have gathered 4 different colleges for a particular mission. We have made one NGO with the forest department. Forest department के साथ हमने NGO किया. काय के लिए? कि जितने भी wetlands हैं अकोला डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, उसका प्रोटेक्शन होना चाहिए. जनरली क्या होता है, जहाँ जिन कॉलेजेस में MSc है वहाँ डेजर्टेशन के टॉपिक तो कंपलसरी है. अगर उसने कंपलसरीली डेजर्टेशन सबमिट नहीं किया तो वो गाइड उसको मार्क नहीं देगा. तो बच्चा कुछ ना कुछ लिख के प्रिंट आउट, कॉपी पेस्ट, जेरॉक्स करके आपको यहाँ सबमिट कर देता है. करने के बाद आप उसको मार्क दे देते हैं, वो बैच निकल जाती है. उसका डेजर्टेशन अपने पास अपने लाइब्रेरी में सड़ता रहता है, उसका कुछ उपयोग नहीं होता. सो ये पॉइंट पे हमने क्या किया कि वी हैव जॉइंट 5 कॉलेजेस अमंग अकोला सिटी एंड नियर बाय तालुका प्लेसेस, जहाँ पे पीजी है या फिर यूजी के जो अच्छे प्राध्यापक हैं, जो हमारे साथ ऐसे घूमने आते हैं, चलो बर्ड देखने चलते हैं, चलो सर इधर सेंसस है, उधर, उनको पकड़ा और उनके प्रिंसिपल के साथ जाके हमने मीटिंग किया. लेकिन साथ में कौन चाहिए? सिर्फ प्राध्यापक नहीं चाहिए, साथ में एक या दो एनजीओ चाहिए जो एक्टिंग एनजीओ वहाँ पे। तो हमने वहाँ पे निसर्ग कट्टा करके हमारे अमोल सावंत जी है और एक संदीप सरडे करके हैं, उनको साथ में लिया और हमने एक प्रपोजल बनाया MOU विद फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट, क्योंकि फॉरेस्ट वालों को पता ही नहीं आप लोग क्या कर रहे हो। दे डोंट हैव एनी सिंपल चेकलिस्ट, उनके पास बर्ड की शादी चेकलिस्ट भी नहीं है। हमने उनको पूछा माहिती के अधिकार में कि आपके पास अवेलेबल जो है वो हमें डाटा दीजिए, तो उनके पास सिर्फ 20 बर्ड्स की चेकलिस्ट अवेलेबल थी, वो भी 1996 में किसी एक रिसर्चर ने कभी तो भी डेजर्टेशन का परमिशन मांगा था और उसमें 22 सिर्फ बर्ड्स की चेकलिस्ट उनको दी थी। दैट इज द अपडेटेड डेटा फ्रॉम विद फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट। तो आज ये स्थिति है कि हमने ये प्रोग्राम जो शुरू किया लास्ट ईयर से, तो आज हमने 325 बर्ड्स की चेकलिस्ट उनको दी अलॉन्ग विद फोटोग्राफ। इसमें मदद किस की हुई? जितने भी डेजर्टेशन के स्टूडेंट्स थे, जितने भी प्रोफेसर्स थे, जितने भी एनजीओ थे अकोला में, उन सबको हमने एक सर्वे का दिन बताया कि ये दिन में को हमको सर्वे करना है। पक्षी सप्ताह डिक्लेयर्ड, वी हैव डिक्लेयर्ड पक्षी सप्ताह अंडर द गाइडेंस ऑफ महाराष्ट्र पक्षी मित्र, a registered organization since from 50 years in महाराष्ट्र। उनके साथ हमने कोलैबोरेशन करके ये प्रोजेक्ट रन किया जिसमें बर्ड्स पे काम हो रहा है, इन्वर्टिब्रेट्स पे काम हो रहा है, सभी जितने भी स्पेसीज को आप डेजर्टेशन के टाइप में देते हो उस पे काम हो रहा है, जिसका डेटा अपडेटेड रहेगा, जो अपकमिंग जनरेशंस के लिए एक रिपोर्ट उसका फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट में जाएगा, जो वहां पे जाके चेकलिस्ट देखते जाएगा कि पिछले साल कितना हुआ था, इस साल कम हुआ या ज्यादा हुआ, whether the species declined or upgraded. So in this way we are monitoring the species in our area, and we are talking in this particular hall for this purpose that you do these things, collaborate with the forest department, collaborate with the NGOs, then and then you will get the updated data. Otherwise वो तो अपनी लाइब्रेरी में ही रहेगा, ये तो पक्का है। जो सालों से हो रहा है वही हो रहा है, that is the thing. Second thing is that every student, every zoology professor, every botany professor, even we have added botany professors too in our Nisarga Katta group. Everybody is having the eBird app in their mobile phones. Just register eBird, just download eBird app, put the Gmail address, put the password of Gmail address over there, Gmail address password over there, then you will find the database of your area. कितने लोगों ने यहाँ पे काम किया हुआ है, भूम में काम किया है, you will get the direct data, and what you have observed that you also have to put in that particular database. Along with that you have to download this Merlin app also. Merlin app, मुझे पक्षी पता नहीं है, मुझे पंछी के बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं है, so download both the apps, register it, and just put the name of crow, CROW, so you will find the name of crows over here. Just touch on the crow, how many crows you find in that particular area, just put one and click on the photograph, you may see 8 to 10 photographs of crows, how crow like looks. So ऐसे ही जितने भी स्पेसीज महाराष्ट्र में प्रेजेंट है, जितने भी स्पेसीज इंडिया में प्रेजेंट है, उसका डेटाबेस ऑटोमेटिकली डाउनलोड हो जाएगा, और वो बच्चा जिसको बुक की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं रहेगी, देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ एनी बुक, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज इन द सॉफ्टवेयर। हम आज कल यहाँ पे भूम में आए, हमने जीपीएस ऑन कर दिया मोबाइल का और यहाँ की चेकलिस्ट बनाना शुरू भी कर दी, जितने भी बर्ड्स हमको दिखे वो हम उसमें डालेंगे। These are the things. होली कलर्स, नाउ द होली इज कमिंग, इसमें हम क्या नया कर सकते हैं, इसमें भी हम प्राध्यापक लोगों ने सोचना जरूरी है। दिस इज वन मोर थिंग, कलेक्शन ऑफ सीड्स। हम बच्चों को बर्थडे रहा तो कुछ नया नया लाने को बोलते हैं, बर्थडे केक लाते हैं, ये लाते वो लाते हैं। किसी का बर्थडे है तो आज मैडम का बर्थडे, सर का बर्थडे, तो सर ने बोला कि चलो आपके एरिया में कितने टाइप के सीड्स है वो लेके आते हैं। सो वी विल हैव, आवर डिपार्टमेंट विल हैव अ सीड बैंक, कलेक्शन ऑफ सीड्स। वो सीड को हम क्या कर सकते हैं, उसको फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट में दे सकते हैं एक लेटर बना के। एक्टिविटी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस ऑफ zoology डिपार्टमेंट, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस ऑफ बॉटनी डिपार्टमेंट, द सीड्स which are collected from the students, the staff members, the non-teaching staff members। ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि किसी घर पे ऐसा भी पेड़ है कि जो कहीं नहीं है, उसके भी सीड्स हमें प्राप्त हो सकते हैं, जो सीड्स हम आने वाले जो वन्यजीव सप्ताह जो रहेगा उसमें हम प्रोग्राम लेके वो सर को देंगे और उसको उनको बोलेंगे कि वो नर्सरी में लगाइए, और अगले साल या उसके दूसरे साल उससे जो आए हुए पौधे हैं वो हमारे ही कैंपस में दीजिए। सो अल्टीमेटली यू विल गेट दी सैपलिंग्स। You may become a guide for tourists in your nearby places, जो हम करते हैं, खुद होके गाइड करना कि हमारे यहाँ ये चीजें हैं, चलो हम दिखाते हैं आपको। These are the things. Green Valentine Day we have celebrated. Green Valentine Day को क्या करना चाहिए? Valentine Day को हमने टूर निकाला, वहां पे जाके जितने भी वहां पे गंदगी दिखती है सब साफ करना। So we have celebrated the Green Valentine Day. 14 पे 14 फरवरी हम दूसरा डे ना मनाते हुए हम ग्रीन वैलेंटाइन डे मनाते हैं। यस, फॉर ग्रीनरी, व्हाट यू कैन कंट्रीब्यूट फॉर ग्रीनरी, सो ग्रीन वैलेंटाइन डे। दिस इज द ऐप which I have already discussed, the eBird app. These are my say things. 135 species I have observed till complete 23 checklist. ये सुबह का मेरा है, इसमें भूम का भी कल तक आ जाएगा। This is the screenshot of the eBird app. एक छोटा सा प्रोजेक्ट हमने वहाँ पे लिया था फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट को। क्या होता है कि फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के पास बहुत सारा फंड होता है लेकिन उनको गाइडलाइन नहीं होती कि ये कहाँ खर्च करना, तो वो पुल बना लेते हैं, रास्ते बना लेते हैं, बस इसमें खर्चा कर देते हैं साल भर का, क्योंकि उनको मार्च एंडिंग रहता है। मार्च एंडिंग तक 31 मार्च तक बैक डेटेड 3 महीने तक का चेक चलता, तो वो जून तक का, जून महीने में वो मार्च एंडिंग का चेक लिखते हो। ऐसी भी सिचुएशन है बिकॉज I am working one of the member on the Katepurna sanctuary and Mahavidyalaya sanctuary which is nearby to our Akola. तो उसमें हमें कभी कभी जाने का काम मिलता है रहता है, तो उनको बोलते कि कुछ हमारे लिए तो करो, सब तुम ही बटोर लोगे तो कैसा होगा। तो बोलते क्या करना है, तो जो भी वाटर बॉडीज है उसमें हमने क्या किया, ये ऐसे धूप काले के समय जहाँ पे यहाँ पे पानी चला जाता है, पूरा कम हो जाता है डैम का, वहाँ पे ऐसे ऐसे ऊंचे ऊंचे हमने आइलैंड्स बना लिए जहाँ पे माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स आते हैं। यू कैन सी द माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स, दे आर मेकिंग नेस्ट। द रिवर टर्न वन ऑफ द स्पेसीज, लोकल माइग्रेटरी स्पेसीज है जो वहाँ पे 1 या 2 की संख्या में हमें दिखते थे, आज वो 700 से 800 की संख्या में हमें वहाँ दिखने लगे हैं। एंड द टूरिस्ट हैविंग एन अट्रैक्शन टुवर्ड्स दिस स्पेसीज टू सी द नेस्टिंग एंड ब्रीडिंग एक्टिविटी ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर स्पेसीज which is near to 30 km away from the Akola at Katepurna sanctuary. See, this is the real picture. उसपे जाके ग्रासेस भी हमने लगाए, कौन से टाइप के ग्रासेस लगाने वो भी डिसाइड किए। बॉटनी वाले को पकड़ा, बॉटनी वाले प्रोफेसर को लिया कि वहाँ पे कौन सा ताकि वहीं का वो घास ले सके और उसी पे वो ब्रीडिंग के लिए, नेस्टिंग के लिए यूज कर सके। तो ऐसी ग्रास की वैरायटी वहाँ पे जाके हमने लगाई। तो दिस इज द थिंग, कंबाइनली अगर हम काम करते हैं तो दिस आर द बेनिफिट्स। These are the NGO men who contributed for this particular proposal or project at Katepurna sanctuary, and these are the results. नर्सरी के लिए जो हमने बताया था सीड बैंक, उसका ये आउटपुट है। जो भी ट्राइबल एरिया में बच्चे रहते हैं उन्होंने बाम्बू के सीड्स पकड़ के लाए, तो बाम्बू का नर्सरी वहां पे हो गया। सीताफल के, घर पे सीताफल खाया तो उसके सीड्स लेके आओ, so you will have Sitapur. Avla bhi hai, so you will have the saplings of this particular tree. For the conservation boards, you need to have making of nest activity. तो जितने भी Amazon, Flipkart से पार्सल आते हैं उसमें बक्सा आता है, वो बक्से का भी अपन नेस्ट बना सकते हैं. So that is also the good activity. ये जो हमने बनाए हैं, ये फ्लेक्स, ये जो पीछे लगा हुआ फ्लेक्स है, ये फ्लेक्स जिस राउंड पे लगा हुआ रहता है वो राउंड हमने MIDC से कलेक्ट करके लाए. एक ऑटो बताया, वो ऑटो में से डाल के लाए, उसको काटा, उसको लगाया और उसके लिए नेस्ट हमने बनाया. We are having 400 different type of nests. We have distributed on 21st of March, चिमनी दिवस, स्पैरो डे. स्पैरो डे पे हमने क्या करना, तो ये नेस्ट बांटना, हर घर में जाके, हर कॉलोनी में जाके ये लो, ये लगाओ, साथ में एक पानी का पॉट भी रखो. These are the reasons. So these things we need to have to conservation of, for the conservation of species. Forest guide training. गाइड के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, कोई किसी को गाइड करना है तो टीचर, तो सबसे एक्सेलेंट गाइड तो टीचर है. किसी को कैसे पटाना वो टीचर ही पटा सकता है बराबर. So we used to conduct the field guide training in a protected areas, guide the unemployed say peoples or children or say the youths in a protected area. Cleanliness of rivers, this you can have along with the collector. He is the collector. Making seed balls. बारिश आने वाली है, अब क्या करना, तो मेकिंग सीड बॉल, दिस इज द वन मोर इम्पोर्टेंट एक्टिविटी. जो सीड्स आपने कलेक्ट करे स्टूडेंट्स ने, उसके सीड बॉल बनाओ. तो दैट इज, दिस इज आल्सो द एक्टिविटी. नेचर ट्रेल्स, so many things are there. एक छोटी सी एक्टिविटी बताता हूँ, फिर फिनिश करता हूँ. We have taken the slideshow of birds in 40 different schools in Akola. और उसमें हमने जाके पहले स्लाइड शो दिखाया कि अपने आजू बाजू में कितने तरह की बायोडाइवर्सिटी अवेलेबल है, वो फोटोग्राफी के लिए हमने दिखाई. स्लाइड शो होने के बाद जितने बच्चों ने एकदम अच्छा हो गया वो दिखा, सीरियसली जो देखा, उनकी हमने परीक्षा ली, उनको ऑब्जेक्टिव टेस्ट दिया. उसमें से जो पहले 20 बच्चे आते हैं उनको हमने फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट नेचर ट्रेल दिया. तो उसके लिए हमें फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट ने ये व्हीकल भी प्रोवाइड किया. स्पेशल दे हैव ब्रॉट दिस बस फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर एक्टिविटी. सो दीज आर द रिजल्ट्स. नेचर ट्रेल कराया. दीज आर द स्कूल चिल्ड्रंस. इवन योर व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस, हमारा व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस क्या होना चाहिए, तो ये हम बना के देते हैं. हमारा स्टेटस लोग लेके स्क्रीनशॉट करके वही स्टेटस डबल रखते हैं. दैट इज ऑल्सो अ थिंग टू सेंड अ मैसेज, गुड मैसेज फॉर द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ नेचर. मतदान दिवस करना चाहिए. हमने हमारे शहर का पक्षी 5 पंछी जो नॉर्मली मिलते हैं उनके फोटो लगाए और हर स्कूल में जाके वो बच्चे ने उसको मतदान करना है. तो इसमें से क्या हुआ, बच्चों को मतदान की प्रक्रिया समझ में आ गई. और दूसरा कि हमारे अकोला का जो बर्ड है जो सबको प्रिय है उसको जिता दिया, तो वो है बगड़ा. These are the activities, these are the photographs. Even the collector office have participated in this particular activity. This last slide. This is what you see. This is the geo satellite photograph provided by one of our NGO. This is the picture of Maharashtra, Vidarbha and this is Vidarbha and this is Marathwada. The green patches you are seeing, this is the total forest remained now on today. And we are having the responsibility to protect this, keep this green collectively. These are the activity photographs. And lastly, let's come, let's save our Mother Earth. So thank you for the organizers for giving me the opportunity to present my topic before you. Thank you, thank you.
On the occasion of 2 days National Conference on Innovative and Applied Research in Animal Science, at this third technical session, Dr. Milind Shirmate from Shankarrao Khandelwal Arts, Science and Commerce College, Akola. He delivered a talk on a call to action for environment protection and conservation. She well said, as in one line, I would like to say that, as you know, that Mahatma Gandhi well said that the environment on earth provides enough to satisfy man's need, but not every man's greed. Our teacher from environment science, Chavan sir, told us very nicely, and whatever here he in front of all we people, he placed very much about his research, what we can do in a new way, that butterflies, the insects flying or the butterflies or tiger, they provide us a new topic. Also, the climate change, how it is a burning issue, becoming a burning issue, and this environment change, where we are going to this environment is placing, and what we are giving to our next generation. Innocently these kids read this tagline, and this tagline should not be their future. For that we have to work together, and we have to change the scenario, and for that purpose he also told the action plan, what we can do, what we have to do, and we must have to proceed for that purpose. Thank you, sir. And with this, I would like to congratulate Parval sir also. She gave this platform to come together for this such type of actions, taking these actions, and I am also hopeful that we also, all we people, take this message, and someone or somehow we can do something for this environment protection, not only on environment protection, for all being the all the science people, wherever in their subjects, they can do very well. Thank you all.
May I call Professor Tanaji Boradi sir to felicitate our invited speaker, Milind Shirmate sir. Please sir, please come. And I also call Dr. Shamsundar Age sir to felicitate our chairman, Professor Prashant Sangai sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
so
I also call Dr. Mahi sir to felicitate Dr. Shankarrao sir. For next lead lecture, I call upon Dr. B.L. Chaman sir, Department of Environmental Science, to deliver his talk. And for this session, chairman of the session is Dr. Vikas Kalyankar and Dr. M. Patil.
मोकळे सर कुठं चाललं बाहेर रे थोडं बी घातले जाऊन जातो इथं मुक्कामी आज संध्याकाळी
Hello friends, I will continue the next session. Dear friends, I would like to give a little bit information about the Wildlife Act. We are discussing so many things in respect to environment, environmental protection. Number of problems are related. It is interdisciplinary area, transdisciplinary area. That's why anything that relates to Mother Earth, relates to environment. We will discuss a little bit about the law related to wildlife protection. आपण पर्यावरण कायद्यांचा पर्यावरणाचा अभ्यास करता करता पर्यावरणाच्या विविध अंगांचा अभ्यास करतो त्यावेळेला एक महत्त्वाचा प्रश्न उरतो की पर्यावरणाचं रक्षण करायचं म्हणजे नेमकं काय करायचं. कारण जे तुम्ही पाहता हे चित्र खरं नाही आणि बऱ्याच वेळेला हे चित्र खूप फसवं असतं. सरकारच्या बरोबर काम करण्यामध्ये मी स्वतः सहभागी झालो होतो, अनेक कार्यक्रमांमध्ये मी होतो. सांगण्यासारखे अनुभव नाहीत. अनुभव इतके वाईट असतात की जो पर्यावरणाचं नुकसान करतो तो पर्यावरणाच्या रक्षणासाठी पुढे येतो, एनजीओला हाताशी धरतो, त्या अनुषंगाने तुमच्यासमोर एक चित्र निर्माण करतो. प्रत्यक्षात कृती उलटी असते. हे सर्वत्र असलेले चित्र आहे. तरीही आपल्याला कायद्याचं ज्ञान असेल तर कदाचित आपल्याला त्याची थोडीशी माहिती मिळू शकते. त्या अनुषंगानं या प्रेझेंटेशनवर मी भर दिलेला आहे. थोडक्यात वाईल्ड लाईफ प्रोटेक्शन ऍक्ट विषयी मी माहिती सांगतो. I am discussing the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Yes, please. Wildlife. What is exactly mean by wildlife? Now, India is unique in case of wildlife. We are rich in wildlife heritage. We have about 120 families of terrestrial vertebrates. It is estimated that there are more than 400 species of mammals, 1200 species of birds, more than 350 species of reptiles, and more than 29,70,000 species insects in India. After all, India is rich in heritage. Yes, please. But we need to know a little bit about the legal aspects of these animals, how to protect them, what the provisions are. This is a little bit about that. The Indian Constitution talks about it. Indian Penal Code also talks about the animal protection a little bit. CRPC 1973, even the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 is another act. The Police Act also talks about the protection of wildlife. Even the Municipal Corporation Acts also talk about a lot on these aspects. But we will concentrate a little bit more on the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. But prior to that, is it true that the other acts also are having some sort of provisions in it? We will have just overlook. Yes, please. Next. In Indian Constitution, Article 48 and 48A, those two articles talk about environmental protection in respect of wildlife. That means the life forms other than human being. The fundamental duty has been insisted in Article 51AG, which reads as itself the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment including forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Which means it is a fundamental duty to protect all the forms of creatures, that means including wildlife, biodiversity and whatnot. Yes. The Wildlife Protection Act, in short WPA 1972. This act, actually a little bit background if you would like to know. This act was enacted during the period of Indira Gandhi. At that time in 1968, there was a wave of environment related thoughts. In 1969, she constituted a committee to study the wildlife heritage in the country, and meanwhile there was a wave of environmental problems, especially due to the Silent Spring that was published written by Shankarrao, who wrote about the environmental problems, how silently they are increasing and how they are destroying the environment. And at that time, because of this, the thoughts was broadened and a conference was held. That is, in 1972, the World Conference on Human Environment was held. That we refer it as the Stockholm Conference. In that conference, Srimati Indira Gandhi attended the conference and she presented India. Though she talked about the poverty, at that time she realized that the wildlife needs protection. When she came back, she insisted to form the law immediately, and that is the law on which already the committee was constituted, the data was collected and the law was passed. That is the Environment Protection Act of 1972. This is a little bit background. कारण बऱ्याच वेळा आपण कर्त्याला क्रेडिट देत नाही, त्याच्या पॉलिटिक्सवर बोलतो, त्याच्या बाकीच्या सगळ्या गोष्टींवर बोलतो, त्याच्या चांगल्या कामावर कधी बोलत नाही. आणि हे बऱ्याच वेळा होतं. मग ते राजकारण असते, भाजपचा काँग्रेसवाल्याचं बोलायचं नाही, काँग्रेसवाला आहे म्हणून भाजपवर बोलायचं नाही. अरे पर्यावरणाला कुठलाच कायदा हे नसतो, पक्ष नसतो. पर्यावरणाच्या बाबतीत इतकी विचित्र पद्धती आहे. एक पक्षाने एका पर्यावरणाच्या बाबतीत एक चांगलं काम केलं, दुसरा पक्ष सत्तेत आला की तो त्या कामाला सुद्धा बाजूला सारतो. यामुळे मी मगाशी म्हटलं की एनजीओच्या वगैरे बाबतीत जवळून आम्ही कामं केलेली, त्यांना जिहाद करत त्यांच्या इच्छेनुसार काम करावं. तुम्ही ताट काम केला तर कुठंच चालत नाही, अकॅडमिक्स मध्ये चालत नाही. तर त्याचा खूप मोठा फटका मी घेतला. माझ्या बऱ्याच जणांना माहिती आहे माझ्या करिअरमध्ये काय काय अप्स अँड डाऊन झाले. हे अप्स अँड डाऊन बाकी कुठल्या गोष्टीमुळे नाही, रिजिडनेसमुळे झाले. पर्यावरणाचं नुकसान करतो, चुकीचं आहे ते चुकीचं आहे, माझा हेड असलास तरीही भले तू कुलगुरू राहा, चूक आहे ते चूक आहे असं म्हणणारा माणूस कुणालाही चालत नाही. पर्यावरणात काम करताना अतिशय लीन होऊन सगळ्यांची मन धारण करून हांजी हांजी करून करणारा माणूस सगळा पुढे येऊ शकतो. स्ट्रिक्ट राहिला तर काहीही काम करू शकत नाही, हा स्वतःचा अनुभव आहे. मी जर एक एक गोष्ट सांगितली तर यातले परत सगळे माझ्या मागे लागतील. लक्षात आहे. दॅट मीन्स यू हॅव टू वर्क व्हेरी क्युरियसली बाय टेकिंग व्हेरी कॉन्शियस केअर. अदरवाइज if that is because if you know the law you will not dare to disobey the law, and that is the problem. That's why if you don't know the law you are well and good, you are the best environmentalist to work. If you know the law you cannot work properly to protect the environment. This is contrary statement, but this is practically true. But we should know what is the law exactly so that we can have the proper way whether to accept certain things or not. That's why we will take a brief review. Yes, please. These are other laws. Back. These are some other legislative provisions. The Indian Penal Code, Code of Criminal Procedure, Indian Forest Law, Custom Act, the Environment Protection Act, Prevention and Cruelty of Animals Act, the Biodiversity Act recently passed in 2002, and the Arms Act. These are some of the acts. एक महत्त्वाची गोष्ट लक्षात घ्या. या कायद्यांमध्ये सगळ्यात मोठी गोष्ट अशी असते, एखाद्या कायद्यात तुम्ही एखाद्या मोठ्या माणसाला जर पकडलं, जसे की सलमान खानची केस आहे, चर्चा केली थोडक्यात. इफ यू realize that somebody has committed a mistake and that is one kind of crime under a particular act where the punishment is deterrent, then they will find some other act in which there is no more punishment and the person will be treated with that minor punishment and he will escape. Those things happen because we don't know which are the legislative provisions, what are related to the actual field act, the incidences. Yes, please. But these are the activities, these are the laws which have been insisted due to the international level. United Nations has enacted certain conventions to which India is one of the participatory, and therefore it has to do something. एकदा agreement केली, पैसे घेतले की जसं आता नितीन सरांना ही कॉन्फरन्स घेणं भाग आहे, तसं काहीतरी करणं हे भारत सरकारला सुद्धा भाग आहे. त्याच्यामुळे हे सगळं आपण करत असतो. यातलं काहीही खरं आहे असं अजिबात वाहून जाण्यात काय अर्थ नाही. पर्यावरण शिक्षण आपण घेतो, इंटरनॅशनल लेवलचं आहे आणि खालच्या लेवलला ज्या पद्धतीने दिलं जातं त्यावर UGCला सुद्धा आम्ही पत्र लिहिली, त्याची अजिबात दखल घेतली जात नाही, त्याची अपेक्षा पण नसते. पण आपल्याला वी हॅव टू प्ले द रोल. दॅट इज वाय वी हॅव टू अंडरस्टँड द ऍक्ट. चला, what are the penal codes? Section 47, section 289, section 428, section 429. These are some of the sections which are having minor punishments, but if a major activity, any kind of wrongdoer has acted upon, definitely will be turned to these penal provisions, not the deterrent penal provisions. Yes. Next, but these are related to the creatures or animals. Yes, please. Next, in the Police Act also, they can take some sort of action on their own. This is as per the provision in Police Act, the empowerment of police officer to take the action under PCA Act 1960 or WPA 1972. Both are possible, but they never take it. Empowers police officers with respect to the offences. Otherwise, that is means I have handled some kind of cases. For example, there are two neighbors. One neighbor is having a problem with the barking of dog of the neighbor, another neighbor. They went to the police officer. He says, I have nothing to do with this one. There are no more legal provisions related to this one. But there are certain legal provisions through which one can take certain actions. These are some of the actions. The state laws also have been enacted to enforce various, which have been enforced in various states, and authorize the police officers to take certain action. Yes, please. Next. The municipal corporation also is having some sort of provisions in respect of provision of nuisance in case of dead animals, in case of maintenance of veterinary hospitals, or taking care of the animals within the territory, within its territory, and many more. Even giving the licenses, even catching the snakes, and so many other provisions are there related to those. Certain rules have been made, regulations have been made. Those are also, yes, applicable and useful. Certain other animal acts are also there. That is the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals Act 1960, especially in case of captive animals and domestic animals. Section 11 covers you are dealing with the animal if it's cruel or not. That can be decided with the section 11 of this act. The Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is a major act in India that pertains to wildlife animals, both flora and fauna, aimed at the conservation of animal and habitat. Yes, please. Now, why we have to think of animals in through the angle of law? That is, we are performing animals, brought and pack animals, transporting of animals, slaughters, issues, pet animals, strays, wild animals and Wildlife Protection Act, fishing, zoo, experimentation on animals. All these areas are concerning the animal and human interactions. That's why we need to know about it. If these are proper, well and good. If these are not proper, we'll have some sort of way to overcome the problems. Yes, please. So, खूप मोठी आहे, 1.5 तासाची स्लाइड आहे, त्यामुळे आय विल हॅव टू कव्हर इट फास्ट. हे सगळं कशामुळं? वाय इज इट अ बिग एरिया वेअर वी हॅव टू थिंक wildlife is a minor area or big area? It is economically a big area because the wildlife crime is very large. It is not just a narrow. You can see number of global trade and the recorded global prices. You can imagine how large it is. It is a big business. That's why don't think just it is a science or just it is work of a zoologist or a botanist. It's not just a little related to zoologist and botanist or environmentalist, but it is more related to the traders. Yes, please, go ahead. That is why we need to know. These are the reasons why we have to think of protection, wildlife protection. The wildlife has also been used commercially to earn a lot of money in the international market. Wildlife is a cultural asset of country like India. It has deep-rooted effect on art, sculpture, literature and religion of country. Yes, it has many areas to be covered. Hey, wildlife act विषय आहे. This is applicable to even the tribal areas. I mean, birds. In many areas, birds are hunted, sold, purchased. Many legal aspects are related to those. Even the FIRs are filed. A number of cases are also considered, but most of the times they escape due to one or the other reason. But all this is provided in section 43, through which we can have certain action so that one can be, threatened by a legal action. Yes, please. Why we need to think of depletion of wildlife? The reason is that the destruction of plants, forests, for various reasons, destroys the shelter of the wildlife. It creates, the human activities create problem to the wildlife which is residing in the jungles, and jungles have been threatened by human encroachment. Now we are hunting different kinds of animals, plants, even organisms, birds for different purposes, maybe for food, recreation, for some sort of tusk, horn, etc. That's why we are destructing the wildlife. Day by day, these activities are increasing. That's why we need to conduct certain measures. We have to take certain measures to conserve them. Some of the measures already we will discuss in detail later. Yes, please. Let's go. There are certain modes by providing protected areas, by taking certain measures, by enforcing certain activities, legal enforcement forces. We can protect them. Yes, please. Yes, please. Now, this act has been, this Wildlife Protection Act, which is main topic of this discussion, has been enacted by the Indian Parliament to conserve the plant and animal species in 1972. The main purpose of this act is to give the protection to the wildlife in Indian land. The current act is comprehensive and fills all gaps left by previous legislation. Certain modifications have been made, certain amendments have been made and enforced. Yes, please. But overall, yes, next. The major amendment has been made in 1988. Yes, please. Even Article 48A, the 42nd Amendment of Constitution, both these are also related to some of the aspects of wildlife. Even we have discussed. Yes, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. No. from first. Previous one. Yeah. The Wildlife Protection Act, under this act, there is a provision to form certain boards to take certain measures, make certain provisions for the protection of wildlife. There are certain authorities which have been constituted at the national level. The Wildlife Advisory Board is a major board under Wildlife Protection Act. त्याच्यामध्ये एक चेअरमन असतो, एक व्हाईस चेअरमन असतो, स्टँडिंग कमिटी असते. The Minister of Environment and Forest and Climate Change is the chairman, and under his chairmanship there is a committee which decides certain matters related to wildlife in the country. Yes. Yes. Yeah, all decisions are taken by this board. Even at the state level, state board has been formed. The another body is Central Zoo Authority, which takes the decisions regarding to zoo. Yes, please. Next. The National Tiger Conservation Authority is another authority. This is a separate authority that also is constituted under the Wildlife Protection Act. Yes. The Wildlife Crime Control Bureau is also provided, or this has been also created under the Wildlife Protection Act. These all bodies are different, but they have been authorized for specific work related to the wildlife protection under the provisions of Wildlife Protection Act. Yes, please. Yeah. According to this act, yes, previous one. According to this act, there are 5 categories of protected areas which have been created for protecting the wildlife in the country. Because most of the human beings, though activities are stopped, certain restrictions are imposed upon the human being, he never cares about it. He may care apparently, but as far as his economic benefits are concerned, he will never take the care of it. That's why what has been made, even while passing the act, it was thought, and hence purposely some of the aspects have been purposely taken into the Wildlife Protection Act. वाघाचीच रिझर्व का बनवायचे, त्यावेळेला इंदिरा गांधींना त्यावेळच्या राजकारण्यांनी प्रश्न केला होता, बाकीचे रिझर्व करू अगोदर मग वाघाचे करू. त्यांनी म्हटलं नाही नाही, वाघाचं रिझर्व अगोदर करायचं, नॅशनल पार्क वाघाच्या नावाने अगोदर करायचं. का? वाघ कमीत कमी 500 किलोमीटरच्या पेरिफेरीमध्ये फिरतो, म्हणजे वाघाच्या भीतनं तेवढ्या सगळ्या भागातले जे काही प्राणी असतील, जे काही पक्षी असतील, जे काही वनस्पती असतील, त्या सगळ्यांचं प्रोटेक्शन होईल. दॅट मीन्स a tiger moves around 500 kilometers area. That means the entire area will be under his control. In the name of tiger, we can save all the creatures in those areas. That's why, while in conservation measures, let us go from the top carnivores to the herbivore and to the lower levels, so that the most of the areas will be protected. And these are the areas which have been provided under the Wildlife Protection Act, which are intended to provide protection to the wildlife. These are at the state level, these are in the form of wildlife sanctuaries. At the national level, these are in the form of national parks. Certain conservation reserves have been also provided. Just somebody earlier, Dr. Milim was talking about the Maldok Abhayaranya, Solapur. I am from the same region. I know what is the reality. तिथं जर विचारायला गेला, you are going there and asking that person who has been appointed to look after, he himself is engaged in taking the eggs, then how he will say that these birds are there? He will say no birds have come here. Now that kind of somewhere those management aspects are wrong. The provisions are there, the provisions are not implemented properly. That is the main reason. But even then the government has made some efforts. These are some of the efforts. Even the community reserves like Devrais in Maharashtra, this word is popular. There are certain regions which have been protected in the name of Devrais, because in the name of God, the people worship and do not create harm to those regions. That kind of measures also have been taken. Even the tiger reserves have been, these are well known. But there is another aspect. Though law has been provided, you should protect the tigers. A time will come when you will have to say, change the law and hunt the tigers. Because you will have to see from environmental sustenance point of view. If you love the tiger, it doesn't mean that you will allow it to grow to a large extent. No, there are certain limits. That needs scientific knowledge, not only the legal knowledge. That is why the science people should know the law, because they can restrict it. Otherwise, law passed people or A lawyer will always insist what has been written. They will be bookish. They are not the real protectors. The science people, if understood the law, then they can enforce it properly. And therefore, from time to time, whatever the amendments have been made, those will be focused on specified aspects. That is why the science people must know the laws, especially related to the environment. Yes, please. Let's go. Just a little bit about a lot information about the wildlife sanctuaries, why these have been made, what kind of restrictions are there, what is provided, what is not provided, what is crime in these areas, who is authorized to punish. All this information has been that was to discuss, but the time, due to shortage of time, I am not going into details. I will talk just a little bit about the legislative. The Act, Wildlife Act is sound conservation measure and management decisions through the conservation reserves. Yes, please. Yes. After consulting the Act, yes, please. Yes. The main objective, just to keep in mind, giving protection under any condition, we have to protect the wildlife. That is the main objective. Rest of the objectives have been given by considering the international level need and the national level need. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. The authorities have been provided in section 3. Section 3 मध्ये कोण authority आहे, कोणाला हा अधिकार आहे? If I know that something is wrong, I cannot enforce any kind of punishment. I cannot take any kind of action. But there are certain authorities which have been nominated, which have been provided under section 3. Those have been given authority to deal with. Those have been empowered to take actions. Those have been clear in section 3. Section 4 talks about the government. The government can appoint assistant commissioner or assistant director of wildlife conservation and other authorities. That provision has been made in section 4. The entire advisory council has been provided at the state level and national level. Yes, please. The volunteers are the part and parcel of the act. Though it has been not insisted in any of the portion of the act, they are also part and parcel of these authorities. Next. Next. Recognition of national park, wildlife sanctuary and other zoos. These provisions also have been insisted in second chapter of the Wildlife Protection Act, where it has been clear what exactly procedure is to be followed for declaration of national park, for declaration of wildlife sanctuary, and for giving authority to the zoo. Even the hunting has been prohibited under the provision in section in the chapter 3 of the Act, where the subsections and sections have been discussed in depth along with some case laws further. Yes, please. It has been provided that in these areas which have been provided or declared as certain reserved areas, maybe national park, wildlife sanctuaries, or conservation reserve or tiger reserve, any property in those areas, if is found or is acquired by the government, that becomes a property of the government, though it may be your own property. For example, you are having a jeep. You have been there and you have tried to commit any kind of crime, and that has been captured. Then that becomes the property of the government. You cannot say that गाडीचे कागदपत्र माझ्याकडे आहे, मी सलमान खान आहे, मी त्या हरणाला मारलं, माझी जीप जप्त केली, ती माझे कागदपत्र माझ्यात म्हणू शकत नाही. म्हणजे इन दॅट एरिया, त्या संपूर्ण भागामध्ये जर एखादा गुन्हा केला, त्या गुन्ह्याच्या अनुषंगाने जर काही आपल्याकडे असली प्रॉपर्टी वगैरे तर ती जप्त झाली तर ती गव्हर्नमेंटची प्रॉपर्टी मानली जाते. जोपर्यंत त्यावर कोर्ट निर्णय देत नाही तोपर्यंत काय करता येत. एक सामोपचारानं चाय पाणी घ्या आणि सोडा हे सुद्धा चालत नाही. त्याच्या कंपाऊंडिंग अथॉरिटी म्हणतात त्याला, तसा अधिकार सुद्धा देण्यात आलेला नाही. त्याला मॅजिस्ट्रेट समोरच ते उभं करावं लागतं. त्यानंतरच ती प्रॉपर्टी तुमची असल्याचं सिद्ध करायची गरज नाही. ती माहिती आहे कारण ते जप्त केलेली आहे, पण ती द्या अशी जोपर्यंत ऑर्डर होत नाही तोपर्यंत ती सरकारची. आणि जर सरकारने ठरवलं ती प्रॉपर्टी द्यायची नाही, गुन्ह्यामध्ये ती वापरण्यात आली होती हे जर त्यांना पटलं असेल तर ते सिद्ध करावं सुद्धा लागणार नाही. कारण बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ लाईज ऑन यू. You have to prove that I was not there and this property was या म्हणजे ज्या वेळेला ती घेतली गेली त्यावेळेला तो गुन्हा घडलेला नव्हता याचं दुसरंच कारण आहे. हे तुम्हाला सिद्ध करावं लागतं. मला दाखवा बघून माझी गाडी तिथं होते त्यावेळेला हत्या झाली त्या वाघाची असं म्हणता येत नाही. दॅट मीन्स द बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ लाईज ऑन यू. That kind of provisions have been made. Then accordingly the punishment provisions are there. Punishment provisions सुद्धा काय आहे? 3 वर्षापासून 7 वर्षापर्यंतच्या कारावासाची शिक्षा आणि आर्थिक दंड 10,000 पर्यंतचा, तो नंतर आता वाढवण्यात आलेला आहे. 10,000 पर्यंतचा आर्थिक दंड आहे. प्रत्यक्षात गुन्हा सिद्ध झाल्यानंतर हे सगळं घडणार असेल तरी गुन्ह्याच्या चौकशीसाठी ताब्यात घेण्याचे अधिकार आहे. ताब्यात घेतल्यानंतर तुम्हाला एका अर्थानं जोपर्यंत तुम्हाला बेल मिळत नाही तोपर्यंत गुन्हेगार असं गृहीत धरलं जातं आणि शिक्षा चालू राहते. आणि जर तुम्ही लवकरात लवकर त्या शिक्षेचा निर्णय व्हावा याची प्रोव्हिजन जरूर आहे, पण गुन्ह्याचा संशयास्पद जोपर्यंत तुम्ही आहात, संशयातून पूर्णपणे दोषमुक्त होत नाही तोपर्यंत तुम्हाला गुन्हेगार मानण्याची प्रोव्हिजन त्याच्यामध्ये आहे. तर त्या अनुषंगाने तुम्ही तिथं सापडलेलं तर तशा अर्थाचे पुरावे असतात. त्यावर केस करण्यासाठी खूप मोठ्या अधिकाऱ्याची गरज नाही, खूप मोठ्या पुराव्याची गरज नाही. तिथं काम करणारा नियुक्त असलेला शिपाई सुद्धा तुम्हाला गुन्हेगार ठरवू शकतो, भले मग तुम्ही मंत्री असला तरी. दॅट काइंड ऑफ प्रोव्हिजन्स आर देअर. पेनल्टी प्रोव्हिजन्स आर ऑल्सो देअर, बट द मॅजिस्ट्रेट्स काही वेळेला असा खोटा गुन्हा घडून एखाद्या a simple man can be taken under custody without any such kind of crime. That's why the compounding authority has been provided, but to the magistrate. If the magistrate realizes if there is anything which has been unforeseen happened to a common person, मग ती शिक्षा 3 वर्षापासून 7 वर्षापर्यंतची जर असली, he can punish just a little, he can award a little punishment of 2-3 months and 4 months and he can release. But he will have to ensure it that this unforeseen incidents has happened without your knowledge. So, just I will discuss 2-3 incidences of this kind and I will wind up. Yes, please. This is one of the case. आपल्याला गोष्टी ऐकायला बरंच आवडतं. त्या अर्थानं आपण या केसचा विचार करू की राजस्थान कोर्ट हायकोर्टाची केस आहे, स्टेट ऑफ राजस्थान वर्सेस सलमान खान. या केसची सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे. या केसमध्ये वाईल्ड लाईफ डॅमेज कॉज टू द वाईल्ड लाईफ क्वालिफाइज एज अ लॉस टू द इकॉलॉजी अँड द कोर्ट ऑल्सो केम टू द कन्क्लुजन दॅट by the act of using firearms of killing wildlife, the accused committed the offence of mischief as defined in section 425 and 429 of IPC, Indian Penal Code. Section 141 of IPC covers in its ambit mischief, criminal trespass or other offence and can very well be applied to an offence of mischief when committed in relation to wildlife animal also. Why I am reading it? Because this is known to everybody की सलमान खाननी हरिण मारलं. Everybody knows it. त्याच्याबरोबर 2-3 नट्या होत्या. Everybody knows it. But he has not been punished for 7 years imprisonment. That is why the common man thinks on it. What that reason? But what the court has ordered, कोर्ट हॅज नेव्हर सेड दॅट सलमान खान काही चुका केलेल्या नाही त्याला सोडून द्या असं कोर्टानं म्हटलेलं नाही. कोर्टाने तो कसा चुकीचा आहे हे सुद्धा स्पष्ट केलेलं आहे. आता त्याच्या काही मार्गाचा अवलंब करून ते मोकळे राहतात. येस प्लीज. अशा पद्धतीचे अनेक केसेस आहेत ज्याच्यामध्ये कोर्टाने सुद्धा काही गोष्टींना सर कोण आहे त्यांनी सुद्धा नेक्स्ट Yes, please. Yes. अनेक केसेस मध्ये वाटल्यास मी थोडक्यात सांगायला हरकत नाही की बऱ्याच वेळेला असं आपण गृहीत धरतो कोर्टामध्ये गेल्यानंतर केसच्या अनुषंगानं एखादी गोष्ट आपण केली, आपण गुन्हा केला आणि तो गुन्हा कुणीही करताना पाहिलेला नाही. दॅट मीन्स आय हॅव कमिटेड अन ऑफेन्स इन द फॉरेस्ट. Nobody has observed it. That's why there is no witness. That's why if I take the stand that I have not committed it, it doesn't mean that the court will accept it. Court says that you will have to prove that at the time of offense you were not there. you are not guilty, you will have to prove your non-guiltiness. Then only it will be granted, otherwise not. That kind of decisions have been taken by the government. Even there are the different sections, section number 39, section number 40, section number 2A, 2B. These sections are said to be important sections from the point of view of property. If your property in that territory at the time of a particular offense, if is present, that is not your property. It can be acquired and can be a government property. Those kind of decisions have been taken. Even under section 40 also there are many cases. Section 2A, whether the certification of ownership, तुम्ही जर नेपाळवरून एखाद्या वाघाचा पंजा आणला आणि तो इथला नाही म्हणून मी गुन्हेगार नाही असं जर म्हणत असाल, दॅट इज नॉट ऑल्सो अक्सेप्टेड. त्याच्यावरच्या पण काही केसेस आहेत. आय हॅव नॉट हंटेड इट, आय हॅव acquired it, I have purchased it from Nepal, but that animal belongs to the schedule. So many schedules have been given, almost 8 schedules have been given. If any animal, that particular thing belongs to any of the scheduled animals part, then you are liable for the punishment. असं नाही मी मारलेलं नाही म्हणून मी गुन्हेगार नाही. सर मी तिथं 1000 रुपये देऊन घेतलंय ते कासवाचे नख घेतले, असं नाही चालत. आपल्या धर्तीवर तो गुन्हा आहे म्हणजे तुम्ही गुन्हेगार आहात. हे काही काही गोष्टी आपल्याला माहित नसतात, त्यामुळे आपल्या हातून गुन्हा घडलेला असतो आणि तो गुन्हा 7 वर्षापर्यंत कारावासाचा असतो. अशा वेळेला न कळत घडलेला आहे किंवा एका मुलानं अटक केला म्हणून कासव घेतलेला आहे, अशा पद्धतीचं असेल, unknowingly if you have committed the mistake, then it can be compounded, but it doesn't mean that you have been left without any punishment. You will be punished but not sentenced. But if you have purposely committed the crime, then the punishment are determined. That kind of provisions are there. Yes, please. Yes. In another, this is related to Maharashtra. The certificate of ownership cancellation, power to grant a certificate implies a power to cancel the certificate. In Maharashtra, a case was, this incident was held. एखाद्या अधिकाऱ्याला अधिकार नाही असं म्हणून, म्हणजे कायद्याअंतर्गत अधिकार नाही म्हणून त्याने ऍक्शन घेऊ नये अशा पद्धतीचं स्टँड घेतला जात होतं. अ पर्टिक्युलर person who has been appointed for the purpose of Wildlife Protection Act has been authorized to take certain actions which have not been expressed in words, but those provisions may not appear but are expected to exercise. That kind of case this is. The power has been granted to the officer of the Wildlife Protection under the Wildlife Protection Act to take certain actions, even to cancel your certificate. Next. These are some of the sections, section 43, 44, 45. These are related to the license. Though you are having certain licenses, license of business, license of hunting, license, some sort of other licenses, but it doesn't mean that you have been given all the freedom. There are many restrictions on the license holder. At any time, if you are violating some sort of norms, definitely the person who has been appointed for the purpose of protection under the Wildlife Protection Act can cancel your license. That means, though you cannot say that I have paid the fees and that's why this has not expired, that's why I am license holder. No, at any time, if you are committing any kind of crime and it has been observed by the officer, that license can be cancelled. हे कशासाठी महत्त्वाचं आहे? आपण विज्ञानाची माणसं किंवा बाकीचे पर्यावरणाच्या अनुषंगाने चांगला विचार करण्याची माणसं होतो. आपल्याला जर एखादी चुकीची गोष्ट वाटली आणि ती आपण पॉइंट आउट केली तर त्याचा स्टार्ट काय असतो, माझ्याकडे लायसन आहे. पण लायसन घेतलं म्हणजे तर सगळे अधिकार असतात असं नाही. जसं नवरा आहे म्हणजे सगळे अधिकार माझ्याकडे आहेत, बायकोने मी म्हटलं पाहिजे तसं राहिलं पाहिजे, असं जसं चुकीचं आहे त्याच पद्धतीचं हे आहे. You have been authorized, but to certain extent, not entirely. That kind of stand we have to take. Okay. अशा बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी आहेत ज्या थोडक्यात चर्चा करणं शक्य नाही. तुम्हाला 1.5 तास त्याला लागतो पर्यावरणाच्या कायद्याच्या अनुषंगाने. पण ह्या मेजर काही प्रोव्हिजन्स आपण चर्चा केली आहे. इव्हन ट्रेड अँड कॉमर्स, दो यू आर इन द बिझनेस ऑफ वाईल्ड लाईफ ट्रेड, देर आर ऑल्सो सर्टन प्रोव्हिजन्स. तुम्हाला बिझनेस करायला मुभा आहे, पण तिथं सुद्धा रिस्ट्रिक्शन्स आहेत. कशाचा बिझनेस केला पाहिजे, कितपत केला पाहिजे. बाकीचा बिझनेस चोरून होतो. सगळ्यात मोठा 90% बिझनेस वाईल्ड लाईफ मधला 90% ऑफ द बिझनेस इन वाईल्ड लाईफ ट्रेड इज अनऑथराइज्ड. ओनली 10% इज ऑथराइज्ड. What you know is about the 10%, but 90% is hidden. Okay, but that has been controlled in the law. Yes, please. There are certain cases I will not discuss much. Section 55 खाली कुठल्याही कोर्टाला, even ranging from the smallest court to the apex court, that is the Supreme Court, in any of the courts you can file the complaint for the wrongdoers, against the wrongdoers, for the protection of wildlife. That has been provided in section 55. Yes, please. These are some of the sections related to investigation. I will not discuss because there is lack of time. These are some of the cases. Those talk about even cases, many cases even are from Maharashtra, where the judicial magistrate also has been treated that the Supreme High Court has given some sort of warning to magistrate also, because in one of the case in Maharashtra, a jeep was the court struck down the decision of ordering the judicial magistrate allowing the release of the jeep to its owner. That was struck down by the High Court when it was alleged that the jeep was used to commission in the commission of the offence. That means if it is not clear that a particular vehicle or particular material is not related to the offence, if it has not been proved by the owner, it cannot be released. That becomes the property of the government. That has been held by the High Court of Bombay. Yes, please. That is under section 51 of the Act. These are some of the better way. If you have any doubts or any kind of information you need, a legal information with reference to the wildlife protection, we can have a little discussion. Otherwise, rest of the things are related to formation of laws, who has been authorized to change the laws, who has been authorized to make the rules and regulations, which are the provisions related to making the rules for trade and commerce. All these aspects have been discussed in chapter 4 and 5. That's why the rest of the things are not related to a common man. That's why I will not discuss it. But repealing provision also has been provided. जे काही पूर्वी अस्तित्वात होतं, ज्याच्यामुळे पर्यावरणाचं रक्षण होत होतं, all those provisions, those act has been amended, passed, enacted. Even then, those things will remain as it is. Just like Devrais, that has been provided in the act. Yes. Yes, yes. पश्चिम महाराष्ट्रात बऱ्याच देवराई आहेत, कोकणात आहेत, आपल्याकडे असतील, बीडला अशा काही प्रोव्हिजन्स असतील तर त्या सगळ्यांना सुद्धा या कायद्याअंतर्गत सामावून घेण्यात आलेला आहे. त्या प्रोव्हिजन ज्या असतील त्या चांगल्या प्रोव्हिजन्स त्यातल्या जशाच्या तशा लागू राहतील अशा पद्धतीची सुद्धा प्रोव्हिजन या कायद्यामध्ये आहे. याच्या व्यतिरिक्त मग बायोडायव्हर्सिटी ऍक्ट 2002 हा वेगळा आहे. याच्या व्यतिरिक्त दी एन्व्हायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन ऍक्ट ऑफ 1986 खूप वेगळा आहे, ज्याच्यामध्ये पर्यावरणाला घातक अशा काही गोष्टी असतील आणि त्याच्यामुळे वाईल्ड परिणाम होत असेल तर त्याला गुन्हा ठरवून शिक्षा करण्याची तरतूद आहे. ज्याची सगळ्यात मोठी तरतूद आहे ती 1 लाख रुपयापर्यंतची शिक्षा देण्याची तरतूद त्या वाईल्ड प्रोटेक्शन ऍक्ट मध्ये आहे. बट दो दी एन्व्हायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन ऍक्ट ऑफ 1986 प्रोव्हाइड्स द पनिशमेंट ऑफ 7 years of imprisonment or fine up to 1 lakh rupees. None of the case has come up with those provisions. You can consider. Therefore, initially I have pointed out what are the other provisions, CRPC, CPC and so many other. In case of CRPC and CPC, the provisions are just fine of up to rupees 2,000. 200, not 2,000. You can see that is why the people escape. Because the provisions are there and the law says that once you have been punished for a particular offence by any kind of punishment, second time the second punishment cannot be avoided. Once you have been punished with the fine of rupees 200, you will escape. Though in another act, in Environment Protection Act, the fine will be of 1 lakh rupees. But here under the CRPC you have paid 200 rupees. You are free. Though that kind of provisions are there, that's why this kind of confusion makes it easier to escape. अशा काही तरतुदी असल्यामुळं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन स्ट्रिक्ट नाही. कायदा आहे, कायद्याचं पाळणं आता आपल्या घरात सुद्धा असतं. मुलाला माहित असतं, मोठ्या भावाला पैसे मागितले 2 रुपयेच देतो, आईला मागितलं 10 रुपयापर्यंत देतो, वडिलाला मागितलं 100 रुपये मिळतात. तो काय करतो, पैसे घ्यायचे असतील तर मोठ्या वडिलांकडेच मागणार. जे फायदा आहे तिथंच माणूस पळतो. कायद्याचं तसंच आहे. कमीत कमी शिक्षा म्हणून कुठून सुटता येत ना तिकडे पळतात. मोठ्या जात सापडतच नाही. त्यामुळं कायद्याचं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन जरी झालं तरी जे उद्देश साध्य करायला पाहिजे तो उद्देश साध्य होताना दिसत नाही. त्याचं कारण हे आहे. ओके, मला वाटतं माझ्यापर्यंत मी ऑडियन्स आणि तुमचा इंटरेस्ट करून जेवढं सांगितलं. धन्यवाद. पडवळ सर, त्यांचे सहकारी सर्व प्राध्यापक, ऑर्गनायझर्स आणि संस्था चालक या सगळ्यांचे आभार मानून आपल्या सर्वांना सुद्धा आपण चर्चेसाठी थांबलात किंवा ऐकलं पण आपल्या सगळ्यांचेही मी आभार मानतो. आय एम थँकफुल टू ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर युअर पेशंट लिसनिंग अँड डिस्कशन. थँक यू ऑल वन्स अगेन. थँक्स अ लॉट.
Now, very fine good evening to all the dignitaries on the dais and dignitaries in the galaxy. Now, Honorable Professor Dr. B.L. Chavan sir, a well-known scientist, well-known environmentalist. He has served in 4 universities: Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, and even Ahilyadevi Holkar University, Solapur, and Swami Ramananda Tirtha Marathwada University, Nanded. So we have got such a renowned person, well-known, enthusiastically, fully devoted person for the environmentalist, and he elaborate his style of presentation, manner of presentation, his language, lucid language of presentation on behalf of this national conference, on behalf of this Shankarrao Patil College, on behalf of organizer, chief organizer Chandan Sir, organizer, convener Professor Dr. Nitin Padwal sir, and from on behalf of all the participants, I congratulate his presentation. Professor Dr. B.L. Chavan sir, heartily congrats. And he presented his topic, that is Wildlife Act 1972. Means all the acts, sub-articles, articles, and even the hunting different cases, Salman Khan cases versus Rajasthan state, Maharashtra state versus Jamulkar state, and Uttar Pradesh and other state governments cases. These are the cases which are reported in print and electronic media. So many cases they are hidden, that these wildlife, they are butchered, they are gutted. Vultures like varanus, they are daily gutted. Partridge birds in and around this Dharashiv, in and around this Bid or any region, they are gutted. Even the deers, rabbits, they are gutted. They are what we can say, the crop of the farmers. Yeah, they eat the crops or they disturb the crops and they are hunted. And who will born there? Who is the Salman Khan? Who made hunted? Nothing. Means these innocent animals, they are butchered daily. They are gutted. This we have to become everybody. It is a prime duty of every Indian, every environmentalist, every science student, every science teacher to control this hunting, to control these innocent animals. Then and then only this wildlife can be protected, conserved nicely. Otherwise, like dinosaurs, they are becoming extinct day by day. So many birds and animals, they are becoming extinct. Some are on the way of endangered species. That may be plants or animals or any creature on this biosphere. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Honorable Professor Dr. Nitin Padwal sir to felicitate Professor B.L. Chavan sir by offering bouquet, memento and certificate. Now I request chairperson.
May I request Professor Karai sir to felicitate our chairman, Dr. Vikas Kalyankar, offering a memento and bouquet. I request our IQC coordinator, Dr. Jagdaya Madam, to felicitate Dr. E.M.K. Pai sir, offering memento and bouquet. And today's last session will start I call my friend Dr. Somnath Wagmare to deliver his invited talk. He's traveling with the footprint of our climatologist. He is working on bioinformatics, and I will call respected Sri Manjulata Madam to chair the session and Dr. Tushar Gundge to co-chair the session.
So this is last session, and actually I am here for presenting my own research work. Actually, I had made this presentation for the 45 minutes, but being the scenario, I will try to conclude this presentation within 10 to 15 minutes. Basically, I divided this presentation into two sections. First one is about some of the hypothetical data, and the second part is about what I did by using this data. So my work is the structural biology of nematode parasite proteins by using the computational biology approach. Next. So this is general, so I am not wasting that much time into the introduction. So the helminth parasites include cystod, trematode, and nematodes. So if we see the pathogenic one, nematode, they are most pathogenic. Again, nematode, they are very diverse one. Animal nematode is there, plant parasitic nematode is there, soil nematode is there. So in my presentation, I am concentrating on the parasitic nematodes. Next. Yes. So why we are targeting the proteins for the nematode study? So not all the nematode parasites, they are harmful. They are not all, they are pathogenic. Some are important also. At one side we know they are the pathogenic one, and another side they stimulate the immune system, and they are also important for to protect our body against autoimmune diseases. So these are the proteins which plays the different role into the host body. That they give the structural support into the nematode body. They give the structural support, metabolism. The nematode proteins are also important for the host interaction. defense and to take to entry into the host body. Next. So these are the two ways. One is in vivo and in vitro. In the two ways we are going to see the proteins. So this is the protein analysis technique, mass spectroscopy, and another technique, that is protein structure prediction. Second one is the in silico approach. So we are going with the second way, that is in silico approach, to study the nematodes. Next slide. So this is the how the, and we know that to elucidate the structure function of the protein, to evaluate the structure of the protein, we must know the function of the protein, we must know the structure of the protein, and we can determine the structure by the two ways. First one by the experimental method, that is X-ray structure and NMR. Next. And the in silico method, there is three ways. That is a homology modeling approach. The second one is about the threading, and third last one is about the ab initio. So there is a different strategies there. So which strategy we are going to apply, it depends on, there is some factors is there. So in next slides I will show which what are the factors, what are the conditions which we need to decide to follow which pathway. Next. So this is the protein structure. So proteins are fundamental component of living cells. Their ability to adopt the right shape for the carrying the particular functions. So in protein biochemistry, we know that the particular function of the protein, there is a particular structure function of protein. There is structure is also important one, and to identify the structure, that shape, it is key to understanding its biological function, or vice versa. The next. So this is structural bioinformatics approach. So this is a field that involves the use of computational techniques to analyze and to predict the three-dimensional structure of the biological macromolecules, such as protein, nucleic acids, and complexes, different type of complexes. And why? This is aim to understand the relationship between the structure and function in biological system. The technique in structural bioinformatics include the molecular modeling, structure prediction, and there is now molecular dynamics and simulations. Next. So this is the bioinformatics of protein analysis. Next. Okay, so this is the actual work which I did in my lab. So one of our students, he worked on the plant parasitic nematodes, which is a dominant species in India. You go in any part of the India, you will find this dominating species of nematode, that is Mahavidyalaya genus, and species are different. Incognita is again the dominant species. So Mahavidyalaya incognita is a very dominating nematode species, very pathogenic, which cause the directly, which form the nodules, or which form the galls, the roots of the plant, different types of the plant. So in our study, we studied the protein, that is peroxyredoxin, and we studied in silico sequence analysis, homology modeling, and functional annotations by using the that computational approach. Next. So next. So why in our morning session also, our 2 to 3 guests, they emphasized on the Indian agricultural economy. So we are talking about the nematode and Indian agricultural economy. So nematode, they causes about 12.30% of the crop losses worldwide, and that approximately amount to about $157 billion US dollars in terms of the money. So in total, 12% losses is due because of the nematode. The next. So this is actual the nematode species. This is the fast forward video of the Mahavidyalaya, because they are not that much fast mover, but it's fast forwarded video. So they form the nodules or the knots. Here you can see the by exploit only you can able to differentiate the where is the knot and where is the rhizomes. Next. So infection and development of Mahavidyalaya incognita. So here we are targeting one protein, which is a very important one, which plays the crucial role into the this nematode body. That is peroxyredoxin, which is responsible for the defense, which is responsible for the defense of this parasite, and he tried to escape from the plant defense mechanism. So we are targeting that peroxyredoxin protein to inhibit. So this is an enzyme which protects the parasite from the oxidative response of the host tissue, and these are the thiol specific antioxidant protein that reduces the H2O2 and which is the alkyl hypoperoxide. The next. These were our objectives. to study the physicochemical properties of that protein, sequence analysis, structure prediction, because onto the protein data bank there is the structure of this protein is not available. And if you are talking about the helminth parasites, I chosen this topic particularly because in these university colleges most of the teachers they work on the parasites, and our work gets restricted still only the systematics only, and we never cross that systematics level. So this is the one approach where we can use to study the parasite, our parasites, because there is lots of parasite is discovered discovered, but there is need of time to go from the next level to see the how this parasite they get interact with their host, how this parasite they are responsible for the causing disease, what is the actual mechanism. So this in silico approach helps us lots to see this kind of interaction. The next. So this is the why we choose the parasitoxin protein. The next. So there is one in silico method. When we follow the in silico approach, there is XPSI, Swiss Bioinformatics Resource Portal is there, where you retrieve your target sequence from the NCBS. So you just use that sequence and use that sequence to study the physicochemical properties of that particular protein. And here also you can able to see that whether the protein you are going to work is a stable protein or not. So this is the first level only you can choose, or you can decide whether you have to go forward or not. Again, there is some criteria. If the proteins are unstable, still we can see the what is that ratio. If again we have to check that ratio. So this is the physicochemical properties we can study by using the XPSI tool. Next. This is secondary structure. So by analyzing secondary structure here, we can see how many percent it contains the helix, how many percent contains there is a strand and loops. So in our protein there is 25%. These are helix structures, strands are 18%, and loops are 56%. So in this way we can see how the protein is behaving, how this protein they are behaving when they are present into the this parasite body. Next. So this is the composition of the amino acids. Next. Now, when we search for the different structural databases, so there is a number of biological databases is there, and when we are talking about the protein databases and to that of the structural protein databases, still there is a lots of protein, lots of parasite proteins is there where whose three-dimensional structure is not available, and there is a plenty of scope is there for the generating, for the validating this structure of protein. Once we come to the structure of protein, then we can automatically or directly we can go for the function of protein. And here by using this in silico approach, we can see how can we inhibit the expression of that protein for the control of the nematode population if the nematode is parasitic one. So here we use the modeler J. Actually this modeler is freely available, and we added some additional features in the modeler. So we developed the modeler J. This is modeler J. This homology modeling tool. So these are the different steps that are involved. Next. So this is the workflow for the generation of three-dimensional structure of the protein from the sequence. So once we have the sequence from the NCBI, we can go for the generation of the three-dimensional structure of the protein. And generating the structure of protein is not the end. We have to validate that protein structure, whether the generated structure of the protein is working or it is true or not. So for there is some validation tools is there. So we validated our protein by using the 5 different tools, and ultimately we come to know that whatever the structure we develop. Next. So here the template one is our template sequence and our target sequence. So here this chart you can show here. Here you can see some fluctuation in the middle. So we can by the process of loop modeling we can also check that variation, why the variation is there, and we can go for the loop modeling. Next. And so this is the final model which we built by using this three-dimensional protein development structure approach. And next, that is evaluation of model. And for the model evaluation, we are having the Ramachandran plot. Next. So this is validity, quality and reliability assessment of that whatever the protein structure we have developed. So we validated this protein and by using the project here. Next. This is Ramchandra plot and here about here we can say 95% of the amino acids these are into the favored and most favored region. So it shows that whatever the structure we develop, this is the validated one or this is accepted one, because all of the almost 99% amino acids are into the favored and most favored region. Next. Now what we did, once we are having the three-dimensional structure of protein in our hand, then we go for some natural products, some say plant extract, and we use the same plant extract to inhibit this protein. So by using some zinc databases and some pumpkin databases, we search this molecule and we retrieve the secondary structure of that molecule. Then next. And we go for the docking. So for the docking we use some tools, that is Open Babel. So this is file conversion, because there is a need to use different files, and to convert that one file into another file there is a need of some tools. So here we use the Open Babel, where we can convert one file format into the another file format. Next. So this is AutoDoc 4.2 version we use to see the interaction between the protein and the plant extract one, which we use to see the interaction. So AutoDoc 4.2 version we use. Next. And these are the ligands. So Vidafferin A, so which is extracted from the ashwagandha. This is the two-dimensional structure of the this Vidafferin A. Next. And when we dock this protein with the ligand, so there is a protein ligand complex. So these are the some states which is involved. Next. So here is the formation of grid box. And next. So and once we there is different ways through which we can run this docking complex to see the poses, the docked poses. So this is the result which we get. Next. So this is the three compound we use, that is tryptolite, Vidafferin A and indole acetic acid. Next. Now whatever the interaction is there, the interaction which you can visualize on the PyMol, or you can go for the Discovery Studio. So it depends on what kind of interaction you are interested. And another thing is that on the user interface, so Discovery Studio is quite user friendly one, so that we use the Discovery Studio to see the different types of interaction. Next. And we find this type of interactions, and we labeled with some the amino acid which is actively involved in this kind of interactions. And we come to know that what type of bond is there formed, and what is the bond length is there, bond width is there, and the amino acids from the protein and amino acids from that ligands which involved in this kind of interactions. Next. So this is the hydrophobic interactions, you can see. The next. So this is the interaction for the indole acetic acid. The green in color, you can see the hydrogen bond is there. So there is, you can see the strong interactions. The next. So again here you can find the tryptolite. Next. And we have to see comparatively the protein ligand interactions. So here you can give the binding affinity of -6.3, -6.1 and -6.3. It means Vidafferin A and tryptolite, they shows the same kind of the same type of the binding affinity, kilocalorie per mole. But if you see the type of the number of amino acids residues, there is a 433 amino acid residues are involved, and number of hydrogen bonds. So this is one of the parameter which we need to consider to see the which is strong interaction. So here in case of by considering the number of hydrogen bond, so tryptolite, they shows the 4 types of the hydrogen bond. The next. By considering this interaction, now the next step is that we go for the RDMS. So that is we have to go for the molecular dynamics and molecular simulation. So once we go for the molecular dynamics and molecular simulations, we can see this kind of interaction in the real time. And as per the data available, whatever the interaction which we are getting from the docking complex, so there will not be much more kind of variation into the molecular dynamics and molecular simulation. But for the validate that kind of interaction, there is a need to see the molecular dynamics and molecular simulation. So we did here only to the docking study. We had also entered into the molecular dynamics and molecular simulation, where we are getting the very interesting kind of the results. But using only one protein and three ligand, so it is very time consuming. So we are going for the virtual screening program, where we can use the one protein with thousands of ligand. So we are working on that approach, so that at one time we can screen your thousands of ligand with one protein. So here we are using only three ligand and one protein. So in this way you can come up with the solution. Once we know which is the positive, which is the strong ligand which can inhibit the structure of the protein, we can use this ligand for manufacturing or for making for inhibiting that particular kind of the protein. So in our case, the triptolide is the ligand which we can consider for inhibiting the malodolane incognita nematode parasite, because this triptolide is having very strong interactions with the peroxidotoxin protein, and peroxidotoxin protein is a very important protein present into the nematode, which is important to take entry inside the root of the plants, and also that if that protein also try to escape from the plant defense mechanism. Okay, so that's why we are highlighting, we are targeting this protein, and in our lab, our students are developing the databases. We are trying to develop the databases of the parasite and their proteins, along with the ligand molecule or the natural plant secondary metabolites. Those we can use to inhibit these pathogenic proteins of the nematode parasites. So this is what we are doing in our lab, and this is a small bit of our work which I am here to present here. So this is my just little work which I presented here. So thank you organizer for giving me the opportunity to present my research work. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a very nice topic, which is very much related to our theme of our conference. So, advanced and applied technology in research. So, sir has already explained very well about the protein, which is very important in nematode infection to the roots of the plant. So, with the molecular docking and all. So, it's a very nice topic, sir. But the thing is, very less people are here at the end of this session, like last session. So that is not disappointing, because all the students should know what is happening and all now. So here all of us are well known about that. So thank you very much, sir, for a very nice and advanced topic.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I had already did my presentation in ICR conferences, and there also they accepted this idea, and now we are working collaboratively on these nematodes, pathogenic nematodes. I'm at my end, I am working on the virtual screening of these molecules.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I request to TRS sir to felicitate Wamari sir.
Madam.
Please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I request to Karade sir to felicitate Manjulata ma'am. Thank you, sir. I request to Dr. A.D. Kabur, sir, to felicitate Bhoom Day, sir.
Yes, please.
We are the 3 lakh colleagues. We work this together in lakh. Yes, yes.
Yes, again. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sir was my senior colleague in the lab. Yeah, and also student of Java. It was a very big loss for us. Yes. We all, whatever we are doing here because of yes. अगर वो नहीं होते तो हमको कहीं खड़ा होने का चांस भी नहीं होता उससे. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
एक पोस्टर लागते सर काळे सर एक पोस्टर विकास आणि विकास फिशर्स पोस्टर फीडबॅक आणि कलेक्ट करा ट्रॉफी दिली ना हो गया आहे ना काय गाडी आणलेली आहे सकाळी कलेक्ट करते त्याच्यात